How's it going, everybody? Welcome back. Hope you had a wonderful Thanksgiving weekend, or I guess vacation in general. Not even just a weekend. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Man, feels like forever ago. Currently around 29 degrees here where I am. That's fun. So we are not going to be talking about anything getting cold. We're talking about the box office heating up. That's how you do it. That's a segue into, what is it? The show, the live show, what we do here every Monday, myself and John Roca, and we have stuff to talk about. Moana and Wicked crushing at the box office. Once again, turning 2024 into a lowly underdog, and it is now looking like this 2024 is going to be a win for the box office overall. We shall see. Kraven the Hunter. Man, Sony wants people to see that movie. Put out 8 minutes of the movie today. What does that mean? Well, we'll discuss that. I got a chance to look at Creature Commandos. I'll give a little brief thought on what I thought about that. That and more on today's show with myself and the outlaw John Roca. That is right. That is the show. So are you ready for it? You better be. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. It's Monday. Get your shit together. Welcome back, one and all, to the show here. Monday, Christian Harloff Show with myself and John Roca. John, how was your Thanksgiving, my friend?
It was good. Good. Got to hang out with the Lady Outlaws family there on Thursday in LA for a few hours, and then came home. We took a day off and just laid around and watched shows and relaxed. And on Saturday, she made a massive meal for us for Thanksgiving. So that was a lot of fun. Getting to do that, so that was my weekend. Yeah,
that's
good times. How about you?
That's we a lot same type of stuff. We hung out with the family, and when we got our tree already, got the Christmas tree.
Yeah, we got our tree yesterday as well. Yeah,
we got the Christmas tree and did all that stuff, and it's very Christmassy in this town, and I knew that it would be. It's one of the reasons that we moved here, because it's like it's cold, dude. It's cold right now.
Oh, really? Yeah, you said 29 degrees.
It's like 29 degrees, but it's funny because my wife still. LA for her whole entire life, and so when I said, this is real now, just to let you know, this is real. And we got into the car. I don't know where we were going, but like someone left a water bottle in the car, and it was like it was ice, and we were like, I said, look at that, and they couldn't believe it. It was like magic or something. So
East Coast, baby. East Coast, baby.
That's right.
Yeah.
There was a lot of stuff. Did you see anything? Did you watch anything? Did you do anything over the weekend as far as entertainment wise?
Well, I mean, we can't talk about it, but I watched the first 3 episodes of Skeleton Crew.
Isn't it? But you can't. But can't you do a? I thought so.
2 p.m. I thought today.
The social embargo. I think the review embargo dropped. The social. Well, somebody's dropping socials.
Are they already?
I don't know. I mean, I can double check that. I haven't. I was planning on watching it today. I'm interviewing Frank Grillo today.
Okay.
So
nice.
So
that's awesome.
So I was watching. So I watched both. What is it? Creature Commandos and Werewolves.
Yeah.
So that was what I was doing. So I wasn't able to do Skeleton Crew. But let me find out, because if you did,
yes. I'm looking at it right now. Social and review embargo is today at 6 p.m. PT and 9 p.m. PT. Yeah, for both.
So somebody was dropping and not supposed to be dropping. So
yeah, I guess.
So 12/2 at. Yeah, 6 p.m. Eastern. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So you can't say S8.
So the links, because the links are done at noon today.
Oh, wow. Time. They're done today at noon today?
Yeah.
All right. I got to. How many episodes?
3.
Oh my God. I'm not gonna be able to do it. I won't be able to watch it. I'm going to have to wait until, it comes out today. So
you'll get the first 2 episodes tonight, I think, and then.
So it's just a bummer, because I was planning on getting to it. It wasn't one of those things. I mean, look, here's the funny thing is that there's two sides of it, and people get mad sometimes when I say this, but like I very much wanted to watch it, and like I had to prioritize and say, all right, I have this, and I blasted through like 6 episodes of Creature Commandos, which I don't know. I think that the social embargo is lifted. I can just say that I'm enjoying it. It's like it's very much. It makes me though say this is the stuff James Gunn is good at. Like this is essentially it's the Suicide Squad again. It's really what it is. It's Suicide Squad in animated form, but with different people. And my question is, what does he do with Superman? Because this works for Peacemaker, this works for the Suicide Squad, this works for this, and it works for Guardians of the Galaxy, albeit a little bit scaled back.
Yeah,
but it won't work for Superman. So I want to see how that changes up, and but I am enjoying what I'm seeing, and I'm interested in it. So again, I don't know how much I can talk about yet. I know IGN dropped something on Creature Commando, so I'm assuming that you can talk about it. I don't know what the social is.
If the IGN did it, then yeah, I imagine.
I would assume, but we can look in that in a little bit. But I started watching. This is a thing as we are watching the Oscar contending movies that are coming out. This happens to me every year, John. Every year, like there's movies that I need to see, and from having a significant other that you have a little bit more of a. I guess you could go and watch it in another room. You're not getting no kids are knocking on the door or nothing. There's no. If you wanted to spend a day, you tell your lady, hey, I'm going to spend this day today watching movies.
Yeah,
I do not have the luxury.
Yeah,
so I have to find something to watch. With Creature Commandos, I said, listen, I've got to watch this, and I had my oldest, who was her 13th birthday yesterday.
Yeah. Oh, happy birthday.
Yeah. So she was like, hey, she goes, I hadn't watched Arcane season 2 yet. And she watched the whole thing. She's like, I want to watch it with you. I want to see your reactions. So I watched an episode with her the other day. And then last night she's like, you watch one. And I go, I got to watch this thing. She's like, for my birthday. And I'm like, all right. So then I watched an episode with her on that. And then I was like, I gotta watch these episodes so I know what to talk to this guy about. But the other night I was like, okay, let's watch something, my wife and I. So I turned on 3 different movies. She bailed on all 3 of them.
Oh my God.
Conclave within seconds was like, she's like, I want nothing to do with this movie. So she bails on it. September 5th, we watched a little bit of. And I was like,
that's pretty dark. Yeah.
September 5th. Yeah. But it's
because of what it's about.
But that was more of a wider release studio movie. Yes. So I was like, okay, she cannot stand the independent. She thinks everything is so artsy fartsy dark. She's not wrong with you go back and you look at 1992 and the kind of movies that were getting nominated are movies that everybody knew. Everybody, even if it was Fried Green Tomatoes and things like, they were still wide release movies that people knew.
Right.
Movies are being released now that the average person has no clue what it is.
No, it's true, right? You have to be a real deep lover of movies. Look, in 1992, JFK, Bugsy, Prince of Tides, Beauty and the Beast, Silence of the Lambs. You'd argue Prince of Tides is probably the least known of the 5, but that's still Barbra Streisand and Nick Nolte at that time, who were very well known. So it's a great point you bring up here, Christian.
Yeah. So, anyway, so I was like, well, I got to watch these movies anyway, because I need to watch these for my work. So I got to figure out a way to do it anyway. And so I started, and the other one we started watching that I knew she was going to bail on. And I said, there's no way you're going to stick with this, but let's try it. And that was The Substance.
Oh the Demi Moore and Margaret Qualley,
which I'm really digging a lot. Yeah. But I have to watch these things, and I watch a television show. It's like, okay, I watched this tonight, and I told you I watched. You watched Dune, right? We haven't talked about Dune.
Dune Part 2?
No, the series.
Oh, Dune Prophecy. Yeah. I'm liking it.
I really like it. I don't know what the hell people are talking about. People are like, it's boring, it's slow, it's taking a while. No shit. It's what it takes time to move it. But in a way that you're like, I'm interested, I care about this stuff. It doesn't feel like Denis Dune. I don't agree. I just think it doesn't take place on Arrakis. So at least the first 2 don't.
Yeah.
So I was that I had a chance to watch, but I have all these things that I'm watching in television ways, and I'm watching these Oscar movies the same way. Because I'm gonna finish Substance. I'm gonna finish September 5th. I just got what was the other one? The Brutalist just came in.
The Brutalist just came. Yeah.
I'm gonna check that.
That's my afternoon. After we're done, I'm gonna grab a little lunch and then jump in and sit down and watch September 5th and Brutalist back to back. I saw Heretic over the weekend.
How was it?
I enjoyed it. Okay. I really liked it. I know some people have been Snyder's been in and out on it, but I liked it. And we watched Juror number 2, the Clint Eastwood.
I like that one. I
really enjoyed.
I like Juror 2. That one my wife didn't bail on. That one she watched. We watched that together, and I like that movie. The Nicholas Hoult was great in that movie. So it was really damn good. I thought it was really damn good.
My lady is way less learned on movies. She's much more into the TV series, so she doesn't know Nicholas Hoult that well. And so
Yeah.
she was like, this guy can really act. And I'm like, yeah, he's been doing this. He's in 3 of these films.
Yeah, he's really good.
Like Nosferatu and then The
Oh, yeah,
Order,
that came in too, by the way. We both saw that, but that was on the screeners too. So funny. I saw somebody in the chat, and I'm assuming this is someone who doesn't have children, said, it's funny. I find it funny that you can't finish a film. And I was like, okay, buddy. Okay, come on. Okay. Just come.
I'm an asshole dad. I can finish them all the time.
Yeah,
What's the problem?
Sure. You can fit. It's like that's someone who either doesn't have kids or, like you said, how many, or already has them going off to college,
or doesn't love his kids,
right? Or so I was like, it's tough. Listen, there's what I would love to do. I'd love to stay up till 5 a.m. watching these things. I don't sit down to start watching stuff until like 8, 9 o'clock. Like last night, I had to like plan out and make sure that I watched Creature Commandos, and I didn't even watch all of them. I wanted to watch all of them. They're only like 22 minutes, but so I watched quite a few. But I had to
plan my day too with you. Yeah. You're absolutely right. Like I have to watch these in the daytime because like nighttime is our time, and I've got to, you got to put the quality time in with your significant other when you can. We're into Taylor Sheridan stuff, so we finished up episode 7 of Lioness season 2 last night, the new Landman episode. So like we have to pick our times to watch our stuff, and so you have to be clear about it. So the daytime's the time when I can watch the things that I need to watch, So I hear you, man. And you have way more with the kids and stuff.
Yeah, just like get out of here at like 6, go back, got to do a whole bunch of things with them. And when I get back, put the little one to sleep and everything too. And if she's doing this thing now, she wants the dog to come up, and then I got to bring the dog up. So it's like a whole thing. So by the time we sit down, finally it's like 8:30, 9 o'clock. It's like you choose, and if she bails on something, like tonight, I'm finishing one of those things, and then I had to come in today, and I watched Werewolves when I was
right.
And I don't know what I can talk about of that. Did you ever watch It Ends With Us? I know you were gonna watch that. We were gonna talk about it. That's the one with the Blake Lively movie.
Oh no, I haven't watched that one yet. It's not on the. Is it on the thing? I don't think it's.
No, it's not. It's not. It was that. It's that one. I think we rented it. So like that.
It's about to debut, I think, on a streaming platform. Well, maybe I'll do a reaction to that.
Well, when you watch it, you let me know, because that's when I want to discuss that movie with you. So
all right. If it's on a streaming thing, I'll find it in the next couple of days.
You should. But there was a lot of people that were watching movies over the holiday because the box office is a testament to that, John.
Yeah,
we did some big numbers. Just big numbers here, and here's the report itself. Moana 2. Did you wind up seeing it?
Moana 2 I've not seen yet, so I'll be catching that one at some point in the next couple of days. But
Got it. Moana 2 shattered the projections this weekend at 386 million worldwide. Huge. 221 of that came from its record-setting 5-day Thanksgiving stretch, which nearly doubled the previous record held by Frozen 2 for the holiday. Wow. It's the biggest 5-day debut in history and the best start for Walt Disney Animation. A further 165.3 million came from 48 overseas markets in which the film opened worldwide. It's the second highest opening weekend of the year to date, behind only Deadpool and Wolverine. Despite no holidays outside the United States, the film overperformed in almost all markets and opened at number 1 in all of them, bar China. In multiple countries, including France and Egypt, it had the biggest animated opening of all time. In Australia, it was the top opening weekend for a Disney animation or Pixar title. Wicked, meanwhile, is now up to 359.3 million worldwide total after 2 weekends. The title landing a further 117.5 domestically. Wow. And 29 million overseas at the box office this session. Gladiator 2 is now up to 320 million worldwide after the 3 weekends of international play, with a further 27.2 million at the box office overseas and 44 million domestically this season. Red 1, which cost $250 to produce, now sits at a haul of just 149 million worldwide after 3 weekends, and it looks like it will cost Amazon MGM Studios millions. Yeah, I mean, oof for sure. It's the same Black Adam conversation. It's a decent number. If it would have cost, I mean, 150 it's still what was the total? It was 150? Is that what it was?
Yeah. 250.
No. It cost 250 to make, and it sits at just 150 worldwide. So that's going to be a hard one to do, even if you make it for like $60 million, it's still 150. 150 ain't that great. So, but it's still 250. There's no excuse for it now. There's just no excuse for it. But if you look overall at the numbers there, you got, again, Moana 135, huge. Wicked 80. This is just for from 29th to December 1st. Gladiator 2, Red 1, and then the best Christmas pageant ever. So this is a huge weekend for the box office, man. This is what we've been discussing, and it looks like once again, Wicked. I still don't know. I don't know if I agree with you that it could get to $1 billion. But I'm starting to get to a place that if it does, I'm not going to be like, oh my God, I can't believe it. It's because this is all about repeat viewing. Yeah, it's all about it. Because my daughter wanted to go again. My other people that I know want to go again. As much as I hate the stupid singing thing that they're talking about, and The Rock is endorsing in theaters, and so did Cynthia Erivo. I saw on some interview. Stop saying that. Yeah. Stop telling people, unless it's a sing-along movie, stop telling people to sing, especially if people haven't seen the movie before. And I'm not going to a sing-along. I'm not going to a karaoke thing. I'm going to see a movie. Stop that. But it is starting conversation, and it's getting people, wow, why are people singing in the theater? They're excited about it. Well, maybe I should go see this thing. So, I don't know. What are your thoughts of this whole thing, John?
Well, about the singing, I'm not a fan of, and I think I tweeted something out like that because The Rock used to say it's not sing along with The Rock. Well, it shouldn't be sing along with Wicked either. So I hope that's done. And Cynthia saying, yeah, I agree. It's a little bit. How can I say this without being? It's a little bit elitist. It's a little bit like, oh well, I'm not going to have to experience it, but it's my movie, so you should go and see. These are the things that's frustrating, right? You're like, no, stop it, because people just want to go and enjoy it, and the theater going situation is already worse than it ever has been in the past. Why add the idea of having people singing along and people are going to want to walk out of the theater? Why would you want that overall? So I think it's foolish to say those kinds of things. I understand where they're coming from because you want people to experience joy in a movie theater again. I totally get that, a communal experience. Yeah. But not everyone's going to know the songs. So you're going to ruin the authenticity of hearing the songs for the first time if you're hearing someone next to you who never made it as a singer singing off key because they love the song so much. It's going to ruin it for you rather than enjoying the performances on screen. As opposed to but with the box office, I think this is incredible. This is really surprising to see how much, because a lot of people are predicting this is going to be a boom in November, and it's going to have to carry the box office a little bit in December because people don't feel there's a lot many strong. Some of the analysts I saw saying that December doesn't look like it's going to have a lot of strong movies coming out. And certainly, brother, releasing the first 8 minutes of a movie that's coming out tells me that they might not have a lot of confidence if people are going to go in the theater to see this thing.
But but it doesn't mean they have confidence in their movie. It just means that they don't. I think it does. I think it means
okay.
Yeah, I think. Listen, if you don't have confidence in your movie and you don't think anyone's going to see it, you don't say, "Hey, let's show 8 minutes of this fart bomb." You know, you say, "Hey, no one's going to see our movie." Like we looked at the stats, no one's going to see it. What do? Let's show them how good it is. You want to show them like how long? Show them like 8 minutes. 8 minutes, really? No one's going to see it. You got to, if you show them 8 minutes and go, hey, I'm actually interested in this and I want to see where it goes. That's the idea behind it. I think it's desperate as hell. But there's like if you do put it, now look, I didn't watch 8 minutes because I don't want to see 8 minutes of the movie. I'm going to see it in a screening of it, so I don't want to ruin it for myself. But if I wasn't planning on seeing it, I would be interested in going to see it. I'm curious that if anybody in the chat actually watched it, is it any good, or do you think it looks like a fart lemon? Like what does it look like? I'm curious.
It doesn't mean they're always right, though. I mean, they thought Joker 2 was a hit, and they put it out in these big festivals, and it got destroyed. So sometimes they think they've got something good, and they put it out ahead of time, or put it out and they put out extra minutes of it, and it's not that good. So we'll see if the 8 minutes expose it or get people excited about it when we see it in the theaters for sure.
It's so funny. Like even people in the chat, I wasn't even interested in watching the 8 minutes, and it was free. And it was free. It was free. Like that's crazy. Oh my God. Yeah, I don't know if
but I think Wicked's gonna cross it. There's no way
you think Wicked's gonna cross $1 billion?
Wicked and Moana 2 have a real chance.
I think Moana's got a better shot at $1 billion now with those numbers than.
Well, like you said, the repeat watching, people are bringing like their different family members.
That's why I told you. That's why I told you. I wouldn't be super surprised. One of my pushbacks is Moana's about an hour and a half, an hour and 40 minutes. True. Wicked's almost 3 hours long.
Yeah, 2 hours and 40. Yeah, you're right.
Right. So so Wicked right now sits at 359 after 2 weeks, right?
Yeah.
Moana sits at 386 after a weekend. So out of the two of them, I'm putting my money on Moana 2, and Disney might have another their third $1 billion movie, and they haven't had this since like, what, 2019 or something, like 3. In the same...
Yeah. Well, let me ask you something, because something popped up for me over the weekend. I'm not going to say the person's name. It's a pundit who is in our sphere.
Yes.
Who maybe was recently let go of an outlet and started his own show. He said that people have been over-hating on The Rock, and said that this number for Moana 2 proves that the public still loves The Rock and the number they're
call out who it was. Come on.
But like Red One is sinking like a stone.
Yeah.
Well, he's a guy who wanted to be a pro wrestler. So I've got questions about his points of views and if he's biased here, trying to keep a connection with The Rock, trying to, kiss The Rock's ass a little bit, because Moana 2 is not doing well because The Rock is in the movie. It's not called Maui 2. It's called Moana 2, and people loved the first movie because of the character of Moana.
Let me tell you.
But it's not just Maui, and he shouldn't be the people that the thing that they're hanging it on, that it's just on The Rock and no one else. That's nonsense.
Let me respond to that. Okay. Because I have no idea who you're talking about.
Really?
No, I don't know who you're talking about. Well, you said someone who wants to be a pro wrestler. At first I thought maybe Campy, but Campy doesn't want to be a pro wrestler.
No, this guy's actually wrestled in the ring. He's taking pictures of himself in the ring.
So I don't know who it is. So I can say this. That person is 100% wrong. This has nothing to do with The Rock. Now, let me tell you this, though. What I will say. If The Rock wasn't in the movie, it would have hurt it. It would have hurt it. If they would have...
fair to say.
Yeah, it's not the only reason people went to see it.
Right.
But it definitely would have hurted in the same way that when Aladdin 2 used Dan Castellaneta instead of Robin Williams.
Right. Good point.
Look, it wasn't theatrical, so you can't really compare it that way, but people still noticed that Robin was gone, and Dan's great voice talent as Homer Simpson. But you notice, hey, Homer's doing the genie now. So if The Rock wasn't doing it, you would notice it. Absolutely, for sure. But it wasn't like, oh, well, The Rock's doing a new animated film, let's go see it. No, it's because Moana 2 is one of the most beloved new Disney films in quite a while.
Yeah, like both the voice characters are coming back to play the two main characters.
Yeah.
Yes.
If The Rock still had that superstar power, then to what your point, you're 100% correct. Red One we wouldn't be talking about Red One as a loss. We'd be like, oh my God, we were wrong for saying it shouldn't have cost $250. It should cost $350. Look at it made $1 billion. But so look, I want The Rock's movies to do well. I want The Rock to do a lot of good stuff. I like The Rock, but it has nothing to do with that. That is if that I didn't read whatever this person said. I didn't see it, but that is incorrect.
It's just frustrating to me because we blur the line too much. And, we talk about it on the hot mic all the time. Are you a critic? Should I take you seriously? Or are you a fan who also reviews movies? Like, which are you? Because if you're constantly in this place where and look, I've been guilty of taking pictures with Pedro Pascal. I tried to get a photo with Denzel, couldn't. I know there are moments where you take pictures.
You're such a fan. You currently are. With Pedro Pascal.
That's right, with Pedro. But like you have these moments and you're like, okay, yes, because these are life moments, right? I mean, interviewing Sylvester Stallone, interviewing Clint Eastwood, these were amazing moments for me. But it doesn't mean that I'm not going to call out Clint Eastwood or I'm not going to call out Sylvester Stallone. And I think too many times some of our pundits, some of our people in our sphere are so desperate to maintain these connections with their heroes that they go after the public or go after other critics who are rightfully criticizing something as terrible. We're not over-hating The Rock. The product has not been good. And there's nothing wrong with pointing that out. And I think too many times there's this thing of like, and people want to go, oh my God, this artist, he said to me, I'm the greatest interviewer he's ever had. It's like, come on, man, what are you? Do I take you seriously or do I not take you seriously? What are you? Right. And so I guess I'm caught in that middle place of punditry where it's
hard to take someone serious because, it's like what we talk about when it comes to like when there's something you want people to love stuff. You hope that they love it, but that's why I say the Everything is Awesome crew. I'm not listening to them because I know what they're going to say. In the same way that I know when people are going to hate something, I don't listen to them either because I know that that's what their brand is. I know that their brand is. I love everything. I don't want to hurt the. Right. My whether it's opportunities, whether it's the fact that the love, like I just want to celebrate everything. It's like, well, that's totally fine and you should, but I'm not going to take your opinion to merit from me because I know already what you're going to say. Like, I know, like, I can guarantee you, I'm going to go through the social media reactions and reviews for Skeleton Crew. I can tell you right now, I could list the names of who's going to really enjoy it and who's going to really love it. And I can tell you the list of who's going to hate it and who's going to say that it's, you know, the shills are doing this and that. I can tell you the whole list. The list that I want to know is the people who are going, let's actually dive into what I want to see. Is I want to see the channels. Like, you know, you're going to press me is show me one of those channels on the one side that goes, hey, look, I want to make the video of how I hate this show. I don't. I think it's a really good show. I'm sorry. I know that you're looking at me to shit on this thing, but I got to tell you, this time it's good. And the vice versa. I want to see, like, I just couldn't get into this one. I don't really like it. I thought the acting was bad. And then I'm going to go, wait a minute. Now, wait, that was unexpected. That's what I'm looking for. And you know when you're going to get it? Never. You won't get it. You won't get it. You'll get it from people that, you know, that are actually looking at this with eyes of like, I'm going into it saying, all right, I'm going to watch this and say, I want a good show, but I'm also going to say, and I still, if I don't feel like it's a Star Wars feeling show, I'm going to say it. I'm going to get shit on for saying it. I know, but I'm also going to give it credit if it's a good show. Yeah. So, you know, it's where we are, John.
We champion the middle here, and I guess that's the point I'm trying to make. And I want to see more people who are not so desperate to get their asses kissed by stars, and I want to see more people who are going to tell the truth and not be afraid that they're not have it taken like you're attacking the star that you so desperately want to maintain a relationship with. Be honest. That's what your job is, to be honest. Authenticity. And so I want to see more of that and less of the ass kissing that I see going on sometimes. Maybe I'm an old fossil.
No, I got into a conversation with my brother say there's no world. I'd have this with you off air, but I'll tease it here because the audience is gonna be like, oh, please have it, but I won't, because it would be our entire show. I think where I think that news stations like CNN, Fox News, and MSNBC, I think they're a disaster. I think they're all a disaster. I think that their public opinions, their opinions. They're not news. There's other. That's why I still, like an old man, watch Lester Holt, because he just tells you what happened and if there's a cat stuck in a tree, and great. I feel this is the conversation I got into. I feel currently today that Hollywood as a whole is more damaging than CNN / Fox News, all of them in general.
Clarify that. What do you mean by that?
I think that they have a responsibility also to, you know, look at what they're doing in general. Hollywood, there's some things that they do that the idea of what they're doing and morale and giving people equal opportunity is 100% the thing that should always be done in any business, not just Hollywood. I think that sometimes the Twitter generation, everything else, and everything that happened from, you know, whether 2015 to 2018, people go, oh, well, we don't want to get yelled at Twitter, so let's do this, let's do that, let's do this, let's do that. And by presenting, and look at like this, that's why you get all these conversations where people, we have both agreed on this, that sometimes that when you force certain things, certain agendas, whatever it might be, you are damaging the actual idea of it and what you want to do. I think you bring up like Doctor Strange 2, you know, inside of like how, and there are times that when you do that, it damages it. And I think that Hollywood does, I think Lucasfilm does that all the damn time. And I think there's a lot of times where it's like, no, make good stories, make other things, and don't make people feel bad a lot of times for wanting things, because you can say, because this is why I don't get into the whole thing, because there's certain opinions that I have that people go, oh, it's because you're misogynistic, or you don't like black people, or you don't like women, you don't like this. And it's like, no, it's not that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that there are times that you look and you go, that casting was brilliant, and shit up. The only reason you're talking about that is because you are racist. It's because you are, because that's a brilliant character choice, and the way that whoever that individual is doing it is great. There's other times that just like, it was done to be done, and there's no arguing that it was done to be done, and it's like, no, it wasn't. It's like, yes, it was. Yes, it was. And I think that Hollywood is in a place where it's like you and I can't argue the fact that Hollywood is a very left-leaning extremist thing.
When it comes to the creatives, yes, not necessarily the producers,
no, but from the studios. And I think that is a thing in the same way that we talk all the time. Anything too extreme in anything is bad.
Yes,
and
agreed.
And I think that if it was run by an extreme right, it would be awful. Right. Extreme left, I think it's awful. I think that it needs to be, and you're talking years upon years upon years of being fixed and other people being like anything else should be right in the middle, but that's just not, it's just not realistic.
Well, again, what we've said on the channel and on the show, we've advocated for the middle, and the middle is where you need to be. And look, years ago, when I first started the business with you, Christian, started out and you gave me the chance here, there were times where I banged the drum really hard for representation. The inherent implication for me was I want representation in stuff that is good, right? And I think it got twisted into you want representation no matter what. And that's what we've seen, unfortunately, representation for representation's sake. And that hasn't worked out. And that has actually harmed representation, harmed the idea of having that in there. And that's what really needs to change. It has to make sense. One of the things that I'm really enjoying about the Taylor Sheridan shows is that with Lioness and with Landman, with other shows that they've done like Bass Reeves, you see that these are leads that are women, that are people of color, but they're talking about stuff in the middle. They make fun of the right and the left in all of their shows. And I love that. That's the new way forward. That has to be the new way forward, because look,
but it won't be though, John. But that's
bad, and one side won. And you have to say, well, look, people like that side, so we must adjust these things and cater to more people and play the middle here and do that.
You would think, but I don't think that's going to happen. Because the things are, like I said, California, and it's one of the reasons, like, I'll be honest, that we left is it's just it's so extreme. It's so extreme. And I think that anytime, and California is very extreme in general. I don't think they're.
Well, I think you mean LA, right? Because I mean Orange County. There's other places.
Majority of I would say LA, but I think the majority of California. I mean, it's
leans blue. Yeah, it's fair.
And it's like it's a matter of this has nothing to do with anything except. In this, I don't want, and there's places in the United States that are so far on the other side that I'm like, I want nowhere near. I hate extremism. I hate it. I hate it from everything. I'm not just talking about politics. I'm talking about anything. I'm talking about when it comes to Star Wars opinions. I hate extremism. I cannot stand it. And right now, I believe that is one of the things that is hurting Hollywood. I really do. Yeah. I think that you look here's a perfect example. Okay. Look at Moana 2. Moana 2 is a movie that it just, whether you like the movie or not, you look at Moana 1 to Moana 2, that is it. It's all about culture. It's about anything, and it's done organically and in a way that I felt welcomed. I felt like I was inviting. It didn't feel like anything except like, oh, this is a story that we want to tell. Right. And that is the reason why it did as good as it did. Okay. Right. It's the one time I'll tell also with Wicked. Cynthia Erivo gets cast as the Wicked Witch. I don't see anybody complaining that she's black because she's wearing green, and the whole point is not being accepted. Right? It's fitting. It works. So I don't understand sometimes when it's like you look at it and you just got to say, you got to feel sometimes. And like I said, Lucasfilm is so guilty of this. I mean, you look at The Acolyte is a perfect example. Come on. Yeah. I mean, come on. Yeah. It's a perfect example of just like, we are just going to go as extreme as we can. I said, and I've said this point before. Yeah. You can do that, but make it for $40 million. Don't make it for $230. Right. And you look at Gladiator 2 by extension, right? I mean, Denzel Washington, you have a black man proudly marching through the Colosseums of Rome, and he is, I don't want to spoiler it, but like he is one thing at one moment. Can I tell you something real quick? Sorry. Yeah. I have to point out a complete moron. All right. Okay. So this whole time I'm talking about extreme stuff. And so Idiot Face Magoo, I think is his name, says, so I guess Christian is on the extreme left. What the fuck are you talking about? I literally just said, I hate both extremes. I can't. It's the reason I fucking left California, you moron, is because it's too extreme left. I couldn't stand it. And so, I mean, that's got to be just an idiot telling jokes. And if he's like, I'm just fucking around, I'm kidding, then I apologize. But if you were serious, then you need to stick your head up your asshole and go, oh, look, I can smell my own face. Because that's who you are. You're an idiot face. You're an idiot face.
How do you get to criticize the fans? But you get mad at me
because it's my channel. It's my channel.
All right, fair point.
Yeah.
But you're right. I mean, this is the thing at the end of the day. And I think that's where we both fit. And that's why I love living here in San Diego. It's a nice mixture of both things. And people couldn't be nicer. People couldn't be kinder in the way we interact with each other, no matter what our political views are. And I kind of like that. I kind of live it. So I'm with you. I left LA because it was just getting too crazy and we wanted out. Now we're in a better place, which is more of a mixture. And so, for us right now, this is what works. And who knows, maybe another move down the road is, going to the Midwest somewhere or going back to the East Coast for me. We will see. But yeah, I hear you.
Ramon said he was not saying that to me. He said he was saying it to somebody who was accusing me of being on the extreme right. Okay. Oh, right. I didn't see that either. So anybody saying it was extreme right, also stick your head up your own asshole and smell your face. So sorry.
You're right about
Ramon.
Wicked. You're right about Gladiator too. You're right about Moana too. These are diverse casts, you know, and someone on Fox News stupidly said that Ariana Grande was Latino. She's not. She's Italian. She's white. So it's like, so dumb. So it's like you got the mixture here going throughout these movies. And look, they're successful and $420 million in 1 month at the box office. That tells you people want good stories. You cast the right people for the right, and you can still make a commentary with Cynthia Erivo, but you put it in a good movie so that it can be consumed in a good way. So these are the things that are important: diversity and good product, and it's important to have that in anything you're putting out.
But you know what I need though? I need to relax, and in order to do that, you know how I'm going to do it. I'm going to tell you about. Not only I'm going to keep myself in shape with some AG1, I'm going to follow it up with some Via. Hell yeah! Let me tell you about AG1. I've told you about AG1, and it's the best time to tell you about AG1 because it's the holiday season. And it is so hard, I'm telling you from experience, to stay motivated and to eat healthy during the holidays. It's always a challenge. So for me, what I make sure that I do, I have AG1 when I start off during the day. I know that if I'm going to have all my vitamins in one shot, I got AG1. Before AG1 was a part of my daily routine, I was all over the place. I was scattered, and I was like, oh, maybe I should do vitamins, but it takes 75 and different things and mix and match. It was a mess, so I couldn't do it. So for me, as you guys have seen, you guys have been so kind and complimenting. You're like, oh, I can tell you've lost weight. You look healthy. AG1. The travel packs are great, too, because if I don't have the morning routine for some reason gets thrown off, I'm like, oh man, I got the travel pack, I'm on the train, I put it in a water bottle, done. What's so good about AG1 is it just sleep quality, more energy, it's wonderful. Try this new year. Try AG1 for yourself. It is the perfect time to start a new healthy habit, and that's why I've been partnering with them for so long. They've been with us since I started this show. And AG1 is offering new subscribers free $76 gift when you sign up. You get a welcome kit, you get a bottle of D3K2, and you get 5 free travel packs in your first box. So make sure to check out drinkag1.com/bigthing to get this offer. That is drinkag1.com/bigthing to start your new year on a healthier note. You will thank me, I promise. You're welcome. Yep, I gave you the gift of Via. That's right. And I'm going to give it to you again. If you want to break from the crowded stores and the endless gift lists, you restore your zen and you embrace the natural power of cannabis this holiday season with Via. This holiday season, you got to unwind, you recharge with Via. Whether you're enjoying a quiet evening at home or embracing the festive cheer, Via's premium THC and THC-free gummies will help you find your perfect holiday balance. Via is well renowned for their award-winning THC and THC-free gummies, and they legally ship to nearly all states in the U.S. in discreet packaging directly to your door with a worry-free guarantee. There's no medical card required. Right now, Via is having a huge holiday sale. For a limited time, you can save up to 25% off of site-wide plus up to 50% off select items and bundles. So if you are 21 and up, check out our link to Via's website in the description. I absolutely love Via. There's so many different things. It does feel like Christmas when you get it. Anyway, my favorite one is the sleep one. I really dig it. It's wonderful. Really nice dreams. Use that code Christian for 25% off. And after you purchase, they're going to ask you where you heard about them. You got to support our show, and you tell them that we sent you this holiday season. Enhance your everyday with Via. You're welcome. Thank you, Via. Thank you, Via. Thank you, AG1. How many people in the chat have signed up to AG1 and signed up to Via? Please tell me. Let me know. Yeah, John, I think there's more people that I think now people this is the reason why I don't address the chat. Is it's asked why, because you said, why do you get to address the chat? Because I find myself when I do that. First of all, I yelled at Ramon and he didn't even do anything. He was talking to someone. That's part one. So this is the whole conversation. Part two is, and I saw someone else. Now they're just going like this, poking. So excuse me, someone goes, why don't you review Skeleton Crew already? That says a lot. It's like, because you can't even review it yet. Doesn't come
We're
out.
not allowed to review it till 2 p.m. PT, man. Did you just get
today?
the show?
Yeah, I think so. So it's like, that's why. But there are a lot of questions that came in, and you started off big, man. You almost took it last week, man. You almost, you almost took it. Yeah. So had like the other shows Brett didn't do it. Nobody had it. Nobody did it. But Coy and Winston, I wasn't here on Friday, and they took over the show, and they had started off slow. I was like, yeah, John's gonna win this. And then they had a second half that just that did pretty well. I think they hit like 90 something. But right now you're at 28 before you even got to the questions. So that's pretty damn good. You're at 28 already. So it's a good way to start. And although I tell you, we got a lot. You're gonna have some competition this week because tomorrow I got not only Roxy, but Roxy and McCoog is coming in for a show tomorrow.
Oh yeah.
And then Wednesday, Clark Wolf and Sam Levine are going to be on the show.
Oh yeah, they got their movie coming. Right?
That's right.
Yeah, they're Kickstarter going.
Thursday, Steph, and I think either, I don't know if Mike's back, but if not Mike, then it'll be Brett, and then Friday, of course, is Cape. So it's going to be an interesting.
So what's the commonality there? Can we get the commonality there? It's 2-on-1 every day. I should only have to do half of what they do to qualify. It's what you're doing to me.
Roxy's by herself.
It's wrong. No.
Oh, no, she's usually by herself.
No, yeah, but not this time. So
that's
it's a tough situation. And it's no coincidence. Roxy's never won. It's no coincidence.
That's true. But you're the outlaw. You're the outlaw. You're the former two-time movie trivia Schmodown champion of the world.
Okay, all right.
I actually watched.
Tell you what, me, you, and Dan Murrell would win every week. For God's sakes, you want to bring a second person in?
I'm glad you brought that up. I have to reach out to Dan because we have to do our annual thing.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if we're gonna do a live though. I think we're gonna do a pre-tape.
Okay.
Because I don't think, for me, because I like editing all that stuff and putting it all together and doing all the pictures and stuff and it's a long show. It's like a 2-hour show where we talk about everything. So I think that I gotta get in touch with them. But that's it. So there are some other stories, man. There's tons of, we mentioned, you mentioned Gladiator and how it was doing well, and that was another one. Did you see that screener also came in too? I mean, granted we'd seen it already, but it just came in. But there's going to be a third one.
Okay.
There's going to be a third one. Ridley Scott confirms it. And so here is the story itself. Scott said there will be a Gladiator 3. You better start making this tomorrow.
Wow.
Ridley Scott's Gladiator. No, I said he should.
Okay.
Ridley Scott's Gladiator 2 was a costly production of film coming in on a production budget of $250 and a marketing PA spend said to be just over $100 million. That means that the film has to earn over $600 to $700 million at the global box office to break even theatrically. At present, after 2 weekends domestically and 3 internationally, the film now stands at $320. It ain't gonna hit that $700.
Wow.
No way. I mean, this is gonna be a loss. I'm singing the same old song, John. Last week, Puck News, Scott Mendelson. Is that where he is? Scott. Is Scott at? Wait, Scott.
Puck now? This motherfucker, Scott.
He's at Puck. I didn't know that.
It looks like,
Okay. Indicated that the sequel is tracking to end up with a gross of around $450. So if the film would be long from breaking even, but strong VOD and streaming would likely take it to the black. Okay, that makes sense. Going by these financials, there is obvious doubt over Scott doing a third film, but the director indicated at a press conference just before the U.S. opening that he intends to continue forward and try to convince Paramount to greenlight one. He says, Mama's geeky. Given the performance in the rest of the world we've seen yesterday, there's certainly going to be a Gladiator 3. No word on what a potential third film would be about. Scott previously indicating in interviews he had already begun the writing process of the film with over a dozen pages already written. Tough one for me because I like this. I like this movie more than most, right? I think it is absolutely, if you compare the two of them, you can't. They're two. The first one is an Oscar-winning, brilliant character developed. This next one is a big epic sword and sandals movie you see in the theater and shove popcorn in your face. but I think that it was also probably greenlit during a time when the studios are still overspending.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how you can say, again, to Ridley Scott, whoever it is, you can't say, all right, Ridley, look, we barely broke even with the numbers, but here's another 250 to go do a third one. It's like, and plus, what is it more? Who's going to be a gladiator this time?
Yeah.
Like the second time, it's like, okay, I get it. It turned out that the kid is ultimately got to walk in the footstep of Maximus and do that. Okay. A third time, I'm going to start to go, who's now his grandkid is a gladiator, and like how's that going to work? So I don't know. I don't know what the story is. But if I'm Paramount, I'm going, yeah, you can do it, but here's $150 million to do it. Take it or leave it.
I kind of feel the issue with the Gladiator 2 for some people, and what I've seen online and other people commenting to me personally, is like the Lucius connection. They felt it was like, why go that route? Why not just tell a story of a new gladiator, and it's from the world of Gladiator, and so you kind of already go in with the idea of what the approach is, but you're experiencing a new character with new motivations and new story to tell. That could be a lot of fun. So maybe this is the door that opens for a Gladiator 3. Now, listen, if you told Ridley Scott in 2000 the Gladiator would become a fucking franchise, I think he'd have been like, get out of my room, you're a moron. But the fact that this is actually possibly going to become an IP, this is insane to me. So if Ridley wants to do this, I think the way to do it is to have no connection with Maximus other than maybe a name or whatever, or motivated by, but not have any familial connection to this. So it has to be its own story. I mean, hell, it could be a female gladiator, right? It could be a gladiator from another country who goes and becomes a part of this thing in Rome. What is the story they're telling? So there are possibilities, I think, that are more interesting if you don't go the route of it being connected somehow, blood-wise or whatever, to Maximus or Connie Nielsen's character. So,
I don't mind it being connected if it's not the same damn story again. It's like, because it worked. The same story essentially worked again. Some people don't agree that it worked. People think that it was just the
I don't
same.
think it worked.
Right.
Yeah.
Some people think it was the same movie again. And you do that a third time. However, without spoiling it, the person that's left in charge at the end of the second movie, if you showed that person and how they were able to run the shop,
make changes,
run the shop, and then are the Gladiator games still a thing with that person running things? Are there new battles to be fought with that person running things? If that person is there while the games are still happening, how do they deal with it? Because every time we always see a particular person that's running the games. It's always like the Joaquin Phoenix or the two twins. The games were also run by people who were legit leaders, and not lunatics. So what's that look like? So I think there's stories that you can tell.
Okay.
So we'll but I don't know. But I don't know. I'm not sure.
I disagree with you.
Yeah. Do you? You don't think that could work at all?
No, I just was putting my point of view.
That's fair.
You're extreme left, and I don't like your point of view.
Or no, see, I was, and Roxy said I would be an incel if I wasn't doing these shows. So there you go. There's
Did Roxy really say that?
She was
no
kidding,
way. She was joking.
No, she was joking, but it was hilarious. So it's like, that's what I mean. You can't win. You can't win. All right.
We should all stop trying to win. We should just be ourselves.
100%. So let's see. There's another. Oh, speaking of things that could happen, there's certain things that won't happen.
Okay.
Edward Scissorhands 2 ain't happening.
No, thank God. All right.
Well, Edward Penis Hands might still happen. Part 2. It might have been a part 2. You ever seen Edward Penis Hands?
No, I have not.
I have.
Nor do I seek to see it.
I will not do a reaction to that one. No. While Beetlejuice finally got a sequel after more than 3 decades, filmmaker Tim Burton says don't expect the same treatment for some of his other legendary early work. Participating in a Q&A at the Marrakech International Film Festival.
Marrakesh.
Thank you. Whatever. On Saturday, Burton threw out the possibility of a possible sequel to Edward Scissorhands, which starred Johnny Depp. While talk of Beetlejuice sequel has been swirling since the 90s, there's never been a clamoring for Edward Scissorhands following up, despite the first film's success many years ago. Burton explains and says there are certain films I don't want to make a sequel to. I don't want to make a sequel to that because I feel like it's a one-off thing. I didn't want to have a sequel for The Nightmare Before Christmas because it felt like a one-off thing. Certain things are best left on their own, and for me, that's one of them. Burton last teamed with Depp on 2012 Dark Shadows, which was terrible. Oh, I didn't, no, they didn't say that. They didn't say that. Their 8th team up, which began with Scissorhands in 1990 and continued through Ed Wood, Sleepy Hollow, Corpse Bride, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, Sweeney Todd, and Alice in Wonderland. Asked if he sees another collaboration in the future, he said this. He seems that there will be. Well, I'm sure there will be. I never feel like, oh, I'm going to use this and that actor. It usually has to be based on the project I'm working on. That's what the film is all about, and it's a collaboration and bouncing ideas off the people around you. Burton's Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice opened to the second biggest opening September debut of all time with 110 million domestically, and ultimately grossed more than 450 million at the global box office. That is a great answer by the legendary Tim Burton.
Yeah. You got to know what can be expanded upon and what can't. And there is a authenticity to stuff that doesn't get a sequel, doesn't get a second or a prequel or a spinoff. It is what it is. And people can put that in the ground and enjoy that. And so you got to know that as a filmmaker. And I'm glad that Tim knows that about his own work. You know, there was another story to tell with Beetlejuice. Had fun with it. I personally didn't think the film was that great, but I'm glad it did well for everybody involved. With Scissorhands, what's there to tell? Like it's a very self-contained story, and there's no need to expand upon it more. So I think it's smart.
I do too. I think and it also shows that he's got integrity, right? It's like he's like, I don't want to do a sequel to that. Now, if he does one, you know what the answer is going to be. Right. I said, wait, that was then. Now there is an idea for it, and it came to me. Yeah, it came to you in the form of a big check. Yeah, that's what it came to. So you're not. No one's gonna take you seriously if you got to not make that movie now, because even if he has an idea for it that is legit, you've said you never do it, so you got to stick to that.
I also think no one's running in to do anything with Depp just yet.
And and I think his answer was probably the same thing. He's like, never say never, because he answered it very smart. He's loyal. Yes. It's a friend of his, obviously, but he's also not saying like, oh yeah, he didn't address anything that happened. He didn't address all that stuff. He's like, I never say which actor I'm going to do, but I'm sure it'll happen. He's still saying that that's his friend, so it's a possibility. And I don't think anybody should be shaking their fist, going, oh, he said he'll work with Johnny Depp. It's like it's his friend, and it's a guy that he clearly would probably want to do something with down the line. So I thought all the way around he handled that very well.
I agree.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about this one, and then we can get to the questions, I think, in a second.
Okay.
Right. James Gunn is out there talking about a lot of different things, and he's got Creature Commandos coming up right around the corner. And well, I'm trying to think. Should we even? Well, I don't want to do that. I was going to say because the skeleton. There is. So someone said that the Skeleton Crew. I guess we can.
You're teasing a lot right now.
All right, I'll bring this up because it's an article. I didn't write it. It's an article. Okay. This is from Josh Wilding. Said there is first social media reactions reveal what to expect from Disney Plus' latest Star Wars series. So the first 2 episodes of Star Wars Skeleton Crew was screened. I guess it was screened in the UK, okay. And that means we have the first reactions from fans, influencers, and a couple of critics. Right. So that's what they're doing now, right? That's there's as overwhelmingly positive as you'd expect from this type of screening. However, we'd be remiss not to point out that critics sent screeners of the first 3 episodes are not allowed to share reviews and reactions until 6 p.m., which is when the first 2 installments hit Disney. That means critics from the likes of The Hollywood Reporter, Variety, yada, yada, yada. The buzz surrounding Skeleton Crew is relatively minimal, something that likely wasn't helped by the mixed response to The Acolyte earlier this year. Then there's the fact that despite the show taking place around the same time as The Mandalorian, it looks like to be a standalone adventure with few ties to what's happening. Still, judging by these early reactions, it sounds like a fun 80s Amblin-inspired romp that we expect when it was first announced. Whether fans want Star Wars times Stranger Things remains to be seen, though it sounds like the series is aimed at a much younger audience. And so some of the things, someone named Phil Roberts says John Watts is a blast. The Skeleton Crew is a blast. Series everly captures the spirit of the Goonies to deliver a fun, kid-centric Star Wars adventure, energetic, fun story that expands the sandbox with lighthearted tone. Thomas Story. First 2 episodes are a lot of fun. Series brings a refreshing perspective by expanding the Star Wars universe. Mark Newbold, he's gonna love it, obviously. Couldn't be happier with what I've seen of Star Wars. Okay. Nicholas Austin, the first 2 episodes of Skeleton Crew are so much fun. I think 80s Amblin Adventure vibes. Yeah. So this, but I don't want to read all these though, because this is
Okay.
this is exactly what I was talking about before. It's like
Mhm,
this is everybody invited to this. This is what they wanted them to do.
Yeah.
That's just what they did. So at 6 p.m. that's when I'll be looking at see. I mean, my goal is that I can try to knock out at least one or two of these to try to review something.
Right.
That's my goal. If not, I'll have to have it up first thing in the morning tomorrow.
Go get a game.
Yeah. So I mean, but you disagree?
Disagree with which part?
Well, this the fact that all those people that I read are.
This is the new system, isn't it? Like the studios put this stuff out in the theaters. That's what it's meant to be. And then look, I've seen the first 3 episodes. I'm not going to comment on my feelings about it till 6 p.m. PT because I'm not allowed to. But the way it was shot, I would have loved to have seen it in the theater. Some of those shots in the first 3 episodes are really gorgeous. And so the fact you're getting to see the first 2 episodes in the theater makes a lot of sense. People coming out being positive about it makes a lot of sense because of the way it's all laid out. But this is absolutely what the studios want to do, is get the people into certain areas, invite certain people. Warner Brothers has been doing that for years, invite certain people to get the first screen who they know are going to say positive things because those people want to keep coming back to see these things and don't give a shit about the credibility, and they'll go and see it and be positive. So these reactions, you got to take them with a grain of salt because we don't know what the circumstances were them being invited overall. And then we'll see when all the stuff starts coming out at XPMPT.
Can I tell you, and I've said it before, and I'll say it again, I think that all the studios have changed to essentially this idea of don't invite the critics first, invite the influencers, invite everyone first. Yeah. And my reaction to that and my opinion that is, I get it. I get it. If I look, as we always are talking about the business side of things.
Yeah.
That's free marketing, baby.
Yeah.
That's all that is.
Right.
And it's 100%. Like, why am I going to invite some guy with his holding his nose before he even walks in the theater because he works for a pristine, trade, and I know what he's going to say. He looks at himself as a big highfalutin critic and an intellectual. Well, that's not who I want to watch this show.
Exactly.
I want the guy or girl with 1 million freaking followers on Instagram, and to go of your point, I don't care how credible they are. They got 1 million people, and now they're going to go see this, and they're going to love it because I gave them free popcorn, shoved a plushie in their face, and now they love it. Look at this. Whoa, we saw Skeleton Crew. It's like watching a Spielberg thing in the 80s. Woo! And then the word gets out, and people cover it, and that's what they do. It's to them what, and then they have to invite the critics and others. Like, you guys come to this one right before the movie, the show comes out. Your embargo lifts an hour before this thing comes out. That's when we gave you access, and there you go. It's not, you don't need the critics anymore.
There you go.
Take it. Here's your scraps.
Well, I mean, I do think we need the critics.
I didn't say that, but I think that
what the people think.
The people, the studios don't need the critics anymore. They really don't. I mean, in a certain aspect, sure.
For awards,
they do. For awards, but to sell their movies, to get these types of things, they don't need critics for them. But yes, of course, 100%. It's like they're still like, hey, if so and so is certifying on Rotten Tomatoes, make sure that they see it. Help, this is a really. You've gotten that email of, hey, did you see the movie yet? If you liked it, please submit your score to Rotten Tomatoes. And so they're not. Actually, let me take it back just a little bit. Okay. They're not needed in the way that they were needed years before. They're not the end all be all.
Right. But this is all coming from, like, this is, in essence, you could argue this is the Jaws or Star Wars effect, right? Like, when those movies came out and they were blockbusters, everyone had to go see them so they could have the conversations with their friends about them. Everyone was talking about it, so you had to be there. So it's now kind of progressed to what we saw over the last couple of decades, this idea of opening night. You got to be there opening night. The studios, front rigged these films so that opening night was massive. They crowed about what they did on opening night, made this much opening weekend, so you had to go out and see it. And now we've progressed this idea of, like, even before opening night, even before it comes out, we've got regular people who are there opening night to talk about it and drove the buzz and the force and all of that behind the film to come out and talk about it, and now they're doing it. And so the studios, this has been changing ever since the birth of the blockbuster. It has been evolving step by step by step to where it is the regular people who go to these movie theaters who are now driving the conversation, driving the narrative on a majority of these films, because a majority of these films are not going to be up for awards or are going to be up for consideration for the big awards. And so that's what's happening now. As you said earlier, Christian, some films have become so small. They're the ones that all the critics are looking for to nominate. But the bigger films have to be driven by something else other than the critics. And it's clear now that they realize, the studios do, that it has to be regular people who are not critics.
That's right. And I think that that's more so what I meant where it comes to like smaller films and the ones that we were talking about earlier in the show, you know, the substance and things of that nature. Of course, they need critics to get the word out. They need people with they would love for influencers and people to go see that, but they'd probably realize that their audience isn't going to give a crap about it. Right. So it's not in general, but it's for stuff like this. They don't need them. They don't need them for like, and like it backfired for, I forget which movie we were talking about, but like which one?
Joker 2, it backfired.
Joker 2, it backfired. Beetlejuice, it worked for, right?
Yeah.
So you've got more data that says it works than that it doesn't. They tried to do it with Joker 2, it didn't work. It's just amazing that movie ate the kind of crap that it ate, because like I remember we were talking about that movie, especially that trailer. The trailer is so good. Anyway, we're going to get to your questions. You're 33 going into this thing, John.
33.
33 going into it. So we see what we can do here in just a moment. But before we do, I also got to let you guys know about Tushy. I always tell you about Tushy, and then my good friends over at Rocket. You guys know I love Rocket.
I've told you about Rocket Money, guys. And the reason why for Rocket Money was so important is that I for a long time, I used to do these things where I'd be on my phone and I'd start searching for these apps. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, I'll sign up. Oh, for free? Yeah, it's free for now. But then it's going to be $20, $30 a month, and you forgot that you're even paying it. And I was like, oh, well, this Rocket Money lets you know about what subscriptions that you have that you're not paying attention to. It can cancel subscriptions for you. It really is amazing. And it just cuts so much time out of my schedule. And I love it, because you don't even know how much you're paying in subscriptions. And you're probably paying way more than you think, because over 74% of people have subscriptions they've forgotten about. And I definitely did that. I can tell you that right now. Like, there was a couple of, I'm telling you, some of these apps, I tried some of these apps and I'm like, oh, shoot, I forgot all about it. You think you spend around $62 per month on subscriptions, something like that, but it's close to about 300. You're close to about 300 a month, because Rocket Money is also, it's a personal finance app, and it cancels your unwanted subscriptions. It monitors all of your spending, and it helps lower your bills so you can grow your savings. Everyone that's using it, 500 million in canceled subscriptions. Wow. It saves about $740 a year. It's great. So stop wasting money on things that you don't use. You just cancel your unwanted subscriptions. You go to rocketmoney.com/thing, rocketmoney.com/thing. Very easy. rocketmoney.com.
Tushy. I've been using Tushy for a long time, and I have 2 of them in my house, and I really love them. I'm so excited to tell you guys more about them. Hello Tushy is the modern bidet attachment that uses a stream of fresh water for a complete and soothing clean. The Tushy bidet attaches to your existing toilet without the need for additional plumbing or electricity. Installation, simple. Takes less time than it does for you to go to the bathroom, just under 10 minutes. Toilet paper only smears your poop around, but with the Tushy bidet's nozzle adjuster, you get a precise clean every time. And every Hello Tushy bidet comes with a 30-day hassle-free return and a 12-month warranty. Get one of these, especially for Halloween. Get one. Clean your butts. You guys will be thanking me, I promise you. Ditch the toilet paper. Finally feel shower fresh with Hello Tushy for a limited time. Our listeners get 10% off their first bidet order when you use that code BIGTHING at checkout. That's 10% off your first bidet order at hellotushy.com with that promo code BIGTHING. All right, John, we got both Hello Tushy, love Hello Tushy, and Rocket Money. I mean, yes, as long as you've been doing this show, we've been talking about Rocket Money.
It's true. It's true.
Love Rocket Money. Did you start watching Arcane yet, by the way?
I have not. I've got that's on the list here. Okay. I got to finish off Dune Prophecy and all this. Like, there's a lot going on right now.
I know. I'm not going to complain about anything when it comes to that stuff. I understand. All right. So, John, before we get into the questions, we got tons of them. What are you working on this week?
Yeah. We got Skeleton Crew is coming out this week, so I'll have my thoughts on it at 6 p.m. PT today. And then just a quick reaction, won't be that long because we got our reviews for Geek Buddies and for Jedi Way. I've already booked those reviews this morning. We'll record them tomorrow. So those will be out. Doing Prophecy review in the morning tomorrow as well. Because I'm really enjoying that series, as Christian has pointed out as well. And there'll be other stuff coming down this week with the Hot Mic with me and Jeff Snyder, and probably Winston and I jumping onto a Spill the Tequila because it's been a couple of weeks. So you can head on over to youtube.com/John Roca Says, to the Outlaw Nation. Just type in that and come hang out with us and all the stuff we got going on there on the channel. It's going to be a lot of fun.
So let me ask you, when it comes to the Star Wars stuff too, do you keep, and I'm asking out of curiosity more than anything else too, but do you keep the Jedi Way thing going because of the Skeleton Crew shows and because of those stuff, or do you, or are you seeing success with that show? I'm just curious because I had stopped doing Sith because I just didn't think people cared anymore to do a weekly Star Wars show.
Well, it's bi-weekly. It's only every 2 weeks. And for us, it's just fun to get together and talk about Star Wars. And it's whatever the news is. And there's always news popping off about Star Wars. Like, for example, everyone's crowing about John Boyega coming back. Hey, guess who told you John Boyega was coming back a year ago? This guy right here on the Hot Mic. Go back and find the episode.
I remember.
All these people jumping up and down about John Boyega coming back. I told you that a year ago.
Is he coming back? Is that a guarantee?
That's what the rumors are saying, that these people are saying, like, all of a sudden they've discovered that John Boyega is coming back.
No, I remember you and Snyder argued about it. He said it wasn't going to happen. Yeah, I remember.
A steak dinner just like you did.
I didn't bet you on that. I didn't bet you on that.
I know, but I'm saying you bet me a steak dinner at Devin with Wolverine.
Right.
I bet him a steak dinner on this thing. So yeah. So
you should you should cancel it out and have him take me to steak dinner.
That's not a bad idea.
That's what you should do. That's what you should do. All right, let's get into this, man, because we got some stuff. And starting, I believe it started. Let me confirm that that's right. Yes, it is. The first one is from Hank Pym, our good friend Hank Pym, Ant-Man himself. Braun Breaker is a monster. Overall thoughts on Survivor Series, and what do you think CM Punk's favorite to Heyman is? So I saw clips, and this is like, I just told you about everything that I don't have time to watch, and I certainly didn't have enough time to watch that on Thanksgiving, but I was checking in, right? And I looked at the moments, and it seemed like, and you can tell me, you watched it? You watched the whole thing?
Yeah, I watched the
So it seems like that moment when he's in the cage, when CM Punk, first of all, when CM Punk comes to the cage and mushes what's his face in the face was hilarious and great and seemed organic, and I don't see moments like that anymore. And then there's the moment when he's in the cage with Roman, and Roman puts his arm out, holds him back, and then it's Roman's time to go out. CM Punk goes right past him. So it was so classic old school. It was such a great old school moment that I was glad that they did that. But did it play that way throughout how did it play? Yeah,
I thought for the men's side, I thought they did a great job with that finale, that last match. It was really well done and choreographed. And it's weird to see pay-per-views on at 3 o'clock on a Saturday. Yeah. It's very, very strange, but I thought they led up to it really well. And the Punk stuff with Heyman and with Reigns is great because you don't know where he's going to go, because Punk has been a face and a heel. Reigns has been a face and a heel. Heyman has been a face and a heel. So the fact that you're opening the door for all these different movements to happen, and just because they have a secret, it doesn't mean that Heyman's actually going to go with Punk. So the fact that that's even up in the air, I think makes it all the more interesting for sure. I thought the women's one was kind of half good and half terrible. It started out terrible and it got great as it went along. And Braun Breaker, yes, and Shinsuke Nakamura. Shout out to Nakamura getting the job done, which I'm really excited about. Hopefully there's a good booking future for him as a champion again. So yeah, I thought it was good overall. Not great, but I thought it was a good pay-per-view.
Okay. I mean, if there wasn't all this, ickiness surrounding about what he was involved in and what he wasn't, bringing Brock Lesnar back,
I know,
for the three of them really would have been great. Yeah, but yeah, you just can't do that. Armada. Would you all be interested in doing like a tier list during a live show, like ranking 2024 movies and or shows? Well, we're probably not going to do it on a live show, but as I mentioned, we're definitely going to do, I mean, if Dan's available, I mean, we kind of made it like a holiday tradition now. The three of us this will be our third year doing it. I'm going to reach out to Dan probably tomorrow, because John already told me he's down to do it. And, and when I spoke to Dan, when we did our live show, he said he was down to do it. So I can't imagine he wouldn't be. We just got to find the time to do it. So, but it won't be live because there's just too much involved in it.
Yeah. Dan pops off in ways you guys don't even have any clue about.
He starts screaming at John in the middle. We've had to take out so many different screams and yells. I will tell you, I did revisit the Horseman reveal. It is the best. It's the best.
Brother, I don't go more than 2 or 3 months without rewatching.
It's the best. It's the best. It was the whole. I remember creating that whole moment in my head. I was sitting. I know exactly where I was sitting when I found the music when you guys popped first.
Yeah,
and I found that music because I typed in like epic music, and I was on YouTube. I was going through all these ones, and there was that one that hit. I was like, oh, that's great. And then I could see them as it quiets up in my head. I'm going, Andrew is going off doing something. Then the music cuts off. And then it does, and then I can get the 4 of them with the hoods there, and then that music drops, and then we can play The Shining, and The Shining. Yeah. The only thing that was supposed to happen was that the red light and the fog was supposed to be clearer,
right?
Because it's like a really long, like darkness that happens before like the red line comes up, but it played really good. I remember holding. If you listen to that pop that Dan gets when the hood comes off. It's like something out of a wrestling event. It's like it was incredible, and it still gives me goosebumps. So
the late to the party video, I still rewatch that because seeing Robert and Vanessa react to it in real time.
Well, that one's so good because you can hear the crowd. You can hear the crowd and the stuff that they're screaming. There's one guy screaming, "Bring out Dan Murrell! Bring out Dan Murrell!" It's great. And I remember when I wish there was a camera on me because I grabbed Ellis's arms like this, and I was going like this when the crowd was losing their mind, and he's like, because he knew how much I was looking forward to that moment of it hitting, and I was like, because we rehearsed it in the beginning of the show. You guys you had your shorts on.
That's right.
All right, Jamie Rell. I'm almost 30. The plan is simple: watch about 700 plus shows from the 50s to now, and manage 50 movies each from 1922 now and beyond in my lifetime. Yeah, like I said, have a blast doing it, Jamie. If you are, I don't know if you're married, I don't know if you have kids, I have no idea. But if that's the goal without kids, well, your goal's going to change. If you're able to do that with kids, God bless you.
You'll have to pay for food, pay for sex, and pay for anything else if you really want to do all of this.
Totally. Jamie Rell. With shows, I'm going backwards from 2020s to 1950s. So as I age, there'll be less shows. 82 shows done, almost 1,200 films watched, lots of data management. Shout outs to Singing in the Rain and Nosferatu.
Yeah. Good movies.
Good movies for sure. I mean, look, you talking about extend. Now, I wish I still did the Schmodown. I'd find you. You'd probably crush. Jamie Rell. Again, Florence Pugh for the win. Oh man, this idiot sends me a picture over the holiday and says, "See, what are you talking about? The most gorgeous picture of Julia Roberts. Like,
You're
it's going to turn me
not
away.
Gorgeous in Mystic Pizza.
Gorgeous. Yes, are you kidding me? But dunk, Roca and J-Lo in Greece. Yeah, I would love to see that. I would love to. You love J-Lo.
I am not on board with this whole new J-Lo reappreciation system.
You wanted to go away.
Yeah,
not like J-Lo.
People weren't going to her concerts like a month ago. And now she's an unstoppable. And people are like, oh, let's reappreciate her. And now she's trying to play the rebel.
That's the way this game works, man. You know how this game works. They knock you down, and then they want to see you get back up. That's how it works.
Nuts. And they fabricate these narratives that never existed, for God's sake. So crazy.
38 thus far, John. You got to get to. Come on, let's see. Can you get to 80? We'll see.
80. Yeah, let's go.
Why not? 80. You can get to 80 right now. It's only an hour and 12 minutes in. You've done that before.
Come on.
Ian Davis. All of the highest grossing movies of the year are sequels. How does Nolan do what he does with original ideas, and how can big studios learn from him? Create another Nolan. Good luck. It's talent. It's the idea. He's built a brand, and he built a brand through big IP. He built a brand through Batman. And then look, Batman is a powerful, powerful thing. And if you make Batman as cool as that MF did, and you make Batman in that kind of realistic tone as he did, and made The Dark Knight, which is a classic, then you take a shot. Then the next trick is to then say, okay, well, I did those movies. Now I'm going to do something interesting from the mind of the guy who brought you The Dark Knight. Well, it better be good. And then you get Inception. And you get one of those things, you're like, whoa, or you get The Prestige, you're like, whoa. And then it's like, well, every time this guy puts a movie out, you're going, whoa. That's not easy to do. You got to find somebody. You got to the way to do it is to find another director that's got the chops. Look at like Ryan Coogler, right? I think Ryan Coogler is a guy that they said, well, look at what Fruitvale Station is. Look what he did with Creed, and now let's give him like I want to see Ryan Coogler do more than Black Panther. I want to see in the same way that like Matthew Vaughn is stuck in Kingsman land. It's like Matthew Vaughn was doing some cool stuff. Like, and we're talking about the IP stuff here with X-Men and other things, but I want to see directors branch out and be able to do things. A little layer cake that Matthew Vaughn did, right? It's like he didn't do stuff. He just every freaking movie he does is associated with Kingsman. It's like I like the first Kingsman. Get away from that now.
Yeah. I think he's cooked. I think he's done. I think Vaughn's
done.
Coming back. Yeah, I think he's done.
You said the same thing about J-Lo.
Well, she's not the star of that movie, is she?
No,
it's the kid.
It's true.
The thing I look at is, and I agree with you, Christian, but I also think the people who are making this comment, the fans have to take some responsibility for this as well. You all can create the next Nolan yourselves by going en masse to a filmmaker's movie and elevating the visibility of the movie. It's always like, why aren't studios doing this? Why aren't you all going out to go? Why isn't The Substance making $250 million? Why isn't Anora a $500 million film? Like these things that you're like, there are great films that are out there, but people aren't going in the same number.
Well, let me push back.
What you said is correct. This
wait,
give you credit real quick.
What? Okay.
The Batman thing is absolutely right, Shannon. Sorry, Christian. And that's what separates Nolan from a lot of filmmakers. He was able to establish himself in the geek world and bring that audience with him out of trust into these interesting, different, and challenging films like Interstellar, like Inception, to a lesser degree Dunkirk, but certainly Tenet and Oppenheimer. So yeah, I think that's the difference there.
I agree with all that. What I would push back on is the fact that, like, when you say, well, you guys got to make it happen and go see Anora and go see Substance. Most people don't know those movies exist. Right. Like that's right. and that's not on them. That's on the marketing side of it. What I always find,
I disagree with you on that. You got to go out and look for this stuff. You can't just wait for the studios to come bend the knee in front of you.
This is what you do, though. You live in the movie world. You look at this stuff. The person who's working on Wall Street, through is not searching for Anora. They're going, oh, there's a band. What's that? Oh, I'm going to take my wife to go see Wicked. I'm going to take I want to see that came out. We saw the Broadway play. We're going to go see the movie. And because they see a big marketing thing for it, so it sticks in their minds. Marketing is everything. And I never understood. And I loved, and there might be a very good answer for this. I just don't know it, of why, like, sometimes you get a movie that costs $50 million and the marketing is so small on it. It's if you're going to spend, like, you know what? If you spent $30 million on it, okay, studio, put $100 million marketing into that bad boy and get people out there to see the freaking thing and see if it works. Use an experiment to go market the shit out of it, of a small movie. Now, there's some movies that people just don't want to see in the theater anymore because they're streaming like movies. Like movies like The Substance and Anora are just not movies that are going to be big, huge, blockbuster. Everybody wants to see them. It's especially The Substance. I mean, that's it's a very weird, cool movie, but it's weird. And it's like my brother's an example. I was on the phone with him yesterday, and I was like, I'm watching this movie that I know that you would hate. I just knew that you would hate it because it's just like, it sounds interesting to him, but it's just, he doesn't like movies like that with a kind of a darker tone and those things. He likes to have like a little bit more of what traditional movies are. And that's why they do better. But I don't know. There's a lot of theories as to why they could work.
Yeah, but the small films, look, Big Fat Greek Wedding. It was a $5 million film and made $370-something million. That's not a marketing thing. And so,
sure was. Are you kidding me?
Things that happened. There's
wait. Are you kidding me that the marketing?
Blair Witch had a massive marketing budget.
It had a big marketing campaign. No. She was everywhere promoting that. Are you kidding? The big story. Didn't George Clooney find that movie? It was
well, that's the thing.
Yeah,
of
course.
Clooney. George Clooney is the one
but George Clooney marketed it. George Clooney went out there and talked about it. And the difference between like The Substance and Mike Reed and that.
Demi Moore. Yeah.
But it's a family feel-good movie as opposed to
Big Fat Greek.
Yeah. So like that example is tougher because you got the powerhouse George Clooney at that time. One of the biggest movie stars in the world. Right. So that one I'm not going to give you. I'm not going to.
Well, I'm just saying, no, but I'm saying that there are small movies that have come,
Sure.
like Blair Witch, that blew up. There's a history of it that didn't have these big marketing machines behind them. And it's because people made the effort. I don't think people make the effort like they did in the past. And I think nowadays people want to be catered to, as opposed to making the effort, taking a chance, looking at these films. And that's why we don't see these independent films blow up as big as they should. And people talk about medium budget movies. Well, the fans have to go and see these medium budget movies if they want to see medium budget movies. So.
It's a debate to have down the line.
Sure.
It's because we can get into it forever. Chris Grainer, not to bring down the room, but I want to say thank you for great shows, and I need it right now as my stepdad passed on Saturday, and I'm totally lost. So, Chris, I'm so sorry for your loss. I am very, I guess, glad that John and I can bring you some smiles and some conversation here, because look, it's very tough. And there's nothing you can ever really say that's going to make someone go, oh, I feel better now. It's like the only thing that I can tell you is that, like, it is always there. The loss is always there. But it does get better. But it's always there. And you want it to be. You want it to be there. Because you don't, because it's like one of the people always realize, like, it never goes away. And so that, when people used to say that to me when my brother passes, and it never goes away. And the same thing with, with your dad, John. You say, good. I don't want it to go away. I don't want. I mean, it's like, because even today I was on the way to driving here, and there's a song that came on, reminded me of my brother, and I was like, and you get that thing that pops in there for a second, and you go, good, because I just remember I just had a moment with him right now.
I think Vision captured that so well in that interaction with Scarlet Witch, when I think he says, like, grief is important. It means you really love them, or really going through it, and so that matters. And Chris, it does take time. It took me 3 years to get to a place where I was happy about the time that I had rather than the time that I lost with my father. And so that'll happen. But, taking care of yourself, watching us or watching whatever is going to take your mind off it or make you feel better about the world is going to help. But, it takes time, and it's going to come out of nowhere, this pain and this grief. Just ride through it. That's the game, unfortunately. It's a passage of time,
Well said. Jason Crosby says, do you think with the current political climate and their hatred of Hollywood for being quote unquote woke, that we could potentially see a new form of the Hays codes implemented? What's the, I'm not as familiar.
Well, Hays code that's the old code from I think the 30s and 20s and 30s, I think, where they the government decided what kind of content could be put out in terms of adhering to a very, very Christian or Catholic point of view. Like, you couldn't show certain things, you had only so many cuss words, you couldn't show certain situations. Jeez. I mean, hell, anything is possible at this point. But I would hate to see it happen, but honestly, I wouldn't rule it out with the madness that's coming. Although I am seeing pushback, which I'm happy about.
I think there are certain things that will be attempted to try to do, but I don't think you're also talking about a very different time when that was implemented too, because the I guess hypocritical nature of that is that the whole argument is that you should be able to say whatever you want to say on, like, X, right? And like, there's somebody's like, hey, how do you allow people to post that or do that? It's like, well, we try to do this, but then yet that same one of the people in the organization is saying, well, you can't put that on TV now, you can't say that in movies because it doesn't favor us. That's not going to go very well in the long run. But it's not to say that some things won't change. And it was kind of the part of the conversation that we had before, right? I do think, and you said the same thing, I do think there's certain things inside of the Hollywood system that does need to change. I think there are certain ideals, and I think that you should also look at your box office receipts and go, well, that didn't work the way we wanted it to. Maybe we should try to do this instead, and do a balance of things as opposed to just one extreme.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah,
agreed. Balance important.
Shay Markel, the 8-minute Craven preview that Sony dropped this morning, do you guys think it'll help ticket sales, or is it a bit of desperate move? Well, it's definitely a desperate move. There's no doubt about it. I haven't seen anybody yet in the comments that saw it. I'm going to go through it. I haven't gotten a review of it so far. I'm not going to watch it because I want to see it. I want to see the movie, and if it stinks, I don't want to sit through it again. Right. You know what I mean? I don't want to, like, oh my God, that was terrible. Yeah, I was already there. It's like, I'll show up 8 minutes late. But I don't know. I have no idea yet. Do I think, and even if it's great, do I think it's going to help? No. I just don't. Do you think that's going to help at all?
No, I don't think so. I think people are made their mind up about that movie.
Agreed.
If people change, it won't be like millions. Do you know what I'm saying?
Right.
It'll maybe
Right.
a few hundred.
Right. It's going to be a couple. And even John, even if it's 10,000,
Yeah.
it's like, what does that really do? What does that really do? Carlton Rudder, London Calling. What's up, Carlton? Under or over 50% that Mufasa beats Wicked's opening weekend. Seeing We Live in Time tonight at an advanced screening. Oh, it's funny. It's coming out there now, that movie. I like that movie. I think that movie, under the radar, that movie. I like that movie. Mufasa, will it beat opening weekend? I think so. If people were tagging me, by the way, over the weekend, because I guess Sonic in the opening weekend is on par. I said I think it's going to beat it overall. I think it's got a better shot. If Sonic wins opening weekend, I'll be very surprised.
Yeah.
But if it does, okay, let's see it beat it for the entire run. And look, I'll eat my words. If it's coming, I think that there's a difference now in 2019 when Lion King came out, but I still think that the brand is powerful enough. I still think Lion King's going to beat Sonic.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. And I think Lion King is going to beat
Mufasa.
I think Mufasa is going to beat Moana 2 as well. I think people are the Lion King thing is massive. So I think people are going to see that for sure.
I do too. I think it's really going to. So I'm not sure. Sure. We'll see. I want to see once that tracking happens. The next, the Nerd Gen Report. Hey, Christian, your show is great. Thank you. Roca, you're cool. Hey, Christian, if you needed any help with editing, I will gladly assist. I appreciate that. Thank you. You like that one? I like that one. It was good.
Kiss my ass. Kiss my ass.
Why? He said you're cool. Why you tell me to kiss your ass? That was a nice
Don't throw in a compliment. No, I live long enough on this earth to know the secondary compliment that's thrown in just so you don't cause any trouble.
I don't think that's you can't win with you.
No.
The poor guy was being nice.
You don't know.
I do know. I know because I wrote it. I pretended it was somebody else. As far as editing, I was trying to help myself out with editing. No, I don't need help with editing right now because a lot of the stuff is live and other things that I'm doing. Plus my costs, I'm still building, but I appreciate the offer very much.
You can help me edit if you want. If you think I'm cool, help me edit for free. Come on in.
For free. Nice guy. You're really winning everybody over today. Mike Joyce.
Take your money. Come on.
Christian, I think you said you have family in Tampa. I do. I'm on vacation with my family in the Tampa, Bradenton area. Any restaurant recommendations or hidden gems? It's hard for me to say. I mean, my brother is the one to talk to about that stuff. Like I remember certain places I ate and said, that place was good, but I can't remember the name of them. If you like seafood, there's tons of great seafood places. I don't have the best
in Florida. What? Really?
Right. Exactly. But there's some really good places. Some places I ate in St. Pete. I don't remember the names of some of these places. If my brother was on the show, he'd probably have 50 different recommendations for you, but I'm not as helpful there, Mike. I'm sorry. Jason Crosby, I took both my kids to see Moana 2 yesterday. My 4-year-old daughter loved it so much she could barely stay in her seat. Made it well worth the cost to see her that happy. And that was my point. I don't know if you and I don't know if we haven't discussed Moana 2, right?
Not yet. No, I haven't seen it. So
So basically what I said was when I saw my attitude reaction was look, that you can tell that Lin-Manuel is missing from this thing. The songs were some of the best parts of Moana 1. They are so forgettable. I don't remember anything. I wasn't humming anything at all. There were some of the songs I was just like, I want them to stop singing, get back to the plot. So that was very noticeable. It's a kind of a paint by numbers sequel, but I enjoyed it and I thought that it had heart. But I could tell that there's some of the audience that were going in to see that it's very similar to Gladiator 2. Like that magic is not there in the way it was. But I can tell you that my 7-year-old, in the same way that Jason's 4-year-old, loved it. Right. Mm-hmm. And my 7-year-old is going to love it. I know it for sure. And I think there's going to be tons of adults that really enjoy it. But I do think overall that this one is going to hit harder with the young kids than it is with the first Moana hit with everybody.
Right.
It hit with everybody. I think that this one is going to hit more with the little ones. And that's why there's not a lot to take the little ones to see in the theater. There just isn't. And so when you're like, oh, another movie that, and they can't see that, oh, wait a minute. Jason says, I can take my 4-year-old to see Moana, I'm in. And Jason and a bunch of other people are doing the same thing, hence the big, huge number that it has.
Right. Good point.
Because, and yeah, and he's right. You look down. I want to see. I don't necessarily need to see it again.
Yeah.
But if I do see it again, it's because I want to see my 7-year-old. Like, she turned on a little preview yesterday, and her eyes lit up. She's like, "I want to see that." And I'm like, "Okay, I got to go," because I couldn't take her into the city with me to see it. So I want to go take her to see it, and my wife wants to see it. So
yeah, there you go. Shay
Markel, maybe you and the old lady can be in the same place, but watch different things. I watch my tablet while my girlfriend watches reality TV, and it's not that easy, Shay. It's not that easy. But the good news is that what I have done is I set up the upstairs now. So my wife, if I'm watching something, she's like, "I'm gonna go upstairs." I go, "Fine, get the hell out of here. We'll do it." I'll watch my thing, and that's usually how it goes. But yeah, but you same with you. It's like I gotta watch something, and you go into the other room.
Yeah, this is the office is where I watch stuff.
Yeah.
What the door's closed, so I can, and I have headphones and I watch stuff. But I still got to put in time with the lady. So yeah,
that's right. All right, you're at 43, 44,
hey,
44.
Nice.
Blake Gilbert, Christian, my man. What's up, Blake? I also love Dune Prophecy. Good. It completely fits with the movie's tone and visuals and Frank Herbert's books, which I love. Yeah. See, I'm very much. I was bummed as much as I was enjoying watching what I was watching last night.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna lie. That part of me goes, "Oh, let me just pause it and watch Dune Prophecy right now and see where it goes." I'm like, no, I'll get to it. But I'm very intrigued in the story, and I like where it's going.
Yeah.
Are you all caught up?
I'm catching up the third episode today.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Mike Joyce. Also, any good theaters in the area to see Wicked? Yeah, go to downtown. There's a really good one downtown. I think like the IMAX or Regal. That you'll find one for sure.
You'll find one.
Yeah, especially I remember I saw like when they first brought up this one theater in downtown Tampa. There was what the hell was it? It was like this big Avatar screening that I went to, which is great. Okay, let's see. Next one. This is from Swan King. Hey, Christian, you ever thought about adding Dan Murrell to the Monday show? Give my man Roca some help. He's playing a team sport all by himself.
Thank you.
Yep. I mean, look, if you want me to add, I can add Roxy to the show on Mondays too. You want me to do that? But then
she gets double bill.
Well, what I'm chance. This is the argument I would have against that. Okay. Your argument is that you're the only one really that has their own show, just with me and you. That's right.
I'm only asking you to consider the fact that I should only have to do half of what they do in order to qualify for victory.
Let me think about it.
You're removing my victory from me.
Let me think about it. Let me think about it.
What do you think about it? I don't have to do.
I just thought about it. No,
I do over half.
I just thought about it. No.
They should if they do 100, I should need to do 60. Let
me think about it again. No. Okay. All right. So next one is from Pete Parker 2288.
I show up on time. Anyway, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
You don't show up on time. What do you want me to do? That's why I said no. Pete Parker 2288. Had a lot of fun with Red 1, and I thought Gladiator 2 was a huge disappointment. Oof, the Emperors. And I would go with one of the Emperors with an oof. The other Emperor I liked. And Denzel felt like he was in a different movie. Denzel
was having fun, man.
Denzel was having fun. But I can understand the criticism. I understand all the criticisms for Gladiator 2. I really do. What I don't understand is that someone's like, "Oh, I wanted it to be Gladiator 1. I wanted it to be the same movie." I was like, that's not what it was. It just wasn't that movie. It was, if you didn't like what it was, I get it, but that's not what it was. Shay Markel says, I watched that 8 minutes of Craven. It felt like a 3 out of 5. Not bad. Well, that isn't a selling point. You know what I mean? Like if it's like if you're putting out 8 minutes, it's got to feel like the biggest comic book movie ever.
Yeah. And look, I mean, 8 minutes? And if you already had low expectations going in there,
yeah,
and the best it did was a 3 out of 5, that's not a good thing.
Yeah, it's not that's not good at all. Top Dog Rig. At what point do Sony realize that these Spider-Man movies aren't working? Whoever's calling the shots there needs to get sacked. Well, it's Rothman and those guys, but they're making other moves with Sony that are, it's not like it's like as I guess it always comes back to Lucasfilm. What is Lucasfilm making besides Star Wars?
Right.
Nothing. Which is again criminal. Right? Like, why are you making original things? Like make original things. But but it's the only thing they're making and it's not working. Like these Spider-Man movies are not the only movies that Sony is making. So you have to look at everything that Rothman is doing before you go, hey, as I've been calling for a new regime at Lucasfilm. I'm not calling for a new regime, but I do think that Sony needs to stop making these movies because they clearly are only doing it to keep the Spider-Man brand.
Yeah, 100%. And the problem again is that people are going to not Madame Web, but certainly the most recent Venom film, almost $400 million worldwide. So that's not really a reason to stop. So it comes back to the public as well. Clearly, there's a lot of people who go see these films for whatever reason.
Totally. Armada, do you all collect vinyl records? So
yes.
I think the answer is yes. We definitely get sent these vinyl records for things also. Like they got the Gladiator one. I'm sure you got that one too, which was great.
Yes.
But I actually bought an old Doors one at this flea market out here, which was great. So I don't actively go, but I find myself buying them from time to time. And I have like 3 record players. So
yeah, I'm an occasional like the 180 gram and the stuff like the Beatles stuff just came out in mono on record. And so, yeah, I do occasionally dip my toe into the vinyl stuff. Certainly over whatever it was, Black Friday, I bought 3 or 4 albums that I've been waiting to buy that went down in price. So yeah, I mean, I do collect, but I'm not a collector in that way. Yeah.
All right. Let's see. Next one here. And where the hell is it? Oh, you know what? You know what doesn't happen is when you're looking on OBS when you should be looking at StreamYard. Okay. So Jonathan Garcia.
Hey.
My favorite SEN story is when Dagnino sold RB3 fake shoes and RB3 didn't know it until he tried to sell them. I think about this at least once a month. Let's get RB3 back on sometime. I miss that guy. He's promoting something, so it's a possibility for sure. But like, do you remember that story?
Of course.
Oh,
yeah, the fake Jordans or whatever they were.
Hilarious. Yeah. No, they were the Kanye shoes, right?
Oh, the Ye shoes.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Fucking Tom.
Doesn't surprise me at all.
I'm having RB3 on my channel on Wednesday nights. We just locked that down this morning. He's going to be promoting his stuff. So Wednesday night, me and him, we're going to have a special Outlaw Nation show, which I haven't done in years. And so we're going to have a fun time. Yeah.
Give him my best. I love RB3.
I will. Absolutely.
Javier Ardino becomes a new member. Thank you. We've gotten quite a few now. So and Nerds Engage has made a bunch of people, but we did a live stream last week that was really fun. So we're doing a lot of cool things on our memberships too. So if you guys want to become a member, join up. Armada, Roxy and Roca debate this week. I don't know about this week, but we got to set it up. We got to set it up soon. When's the season finale of Yellowstone?
Lioness? I don't know when season finale. Lioness is next week, but Yellowstone, I think. That series ended 3 seasons ago, from what I understand.
Oh, wow.
Whatever's going on now.
Wow. I can't. We got to have that debate. Saraba Friend. Christian, a couple weeks back, you mentioned Star Wars comics were in a good place. Have you seen Eckhart's Ladder vids on stolen Star Wars fan art used in official comics? No, I haven't seen that. But I mean, I guess like from the writers and the crew that they have that are making the decisions over there. That's what I meant. I don't know about that controversy. Do you know about that, John?
No, not a thing.
I haven't heard that. Yeah. No, I haven't heard that for sure. Okay, next one. I'd be curious to learn a little bit more about that.
Yeah.
I thought that was a pretty good little conversation we had earlier in the show, John. About
I thought so too. Why? Is there a problem?
I'm just thinking about it. Roman Fedorak. Hey, gents. Happy belated Thanksgiving. I saw Saturday Night with the Family. I loved it in my top 10 of the year currently. It's a great movie. It's probably in my top 10 also.
I agree. It's such a good movie. I don't know what anyone was talking about.
Were people not liking it?
Yeah, someone we know said they didn't like it because they know what happens at the end. And I'm like, well, then don't go see Titanic.
Who's that, Steph? Is that Jeff Snyder?
No, it wasn't Snyder.
Come on,
someone we used to work with. But I don't want to out this person. But
come on,
I couldn't believe
it's just their opinion. It's just their opinion. Who's their opinion? Come on, tell us. You're just saying someone's opinion who didn't like the movie.
Yeah, I just didn't understand the logic of saying one of the things they didn't understand. They didn't buy it. They thought it was too slow, and that they know at the end.
I'll narrow it down. Is it someone who does extensive Oscar coverage?
Yeah, someone who hosts an Oscar show with other people. Yeah.
Okay, so there's one of 3 people, and you already said no to Snyder, so it's one of 2 people. So I think we can guess.
I'm not trying to start any nonsense.
No, you just say you disagree with the person's take, and I'll tell Perry why you don't agree with her.
Or Mance.
All right, let's.
I don't agree.
This is a movie I mean, come on. I've seen it. You got Murray. Where's Murray? Where's Bill Murray?
Where's Bill Murray?
Ralph. Ralph. Holy hell. The Brutalist is the best film ever made. People love this movie. People love this movie. I got to see it. I got to see. People love this movie. Hank Pym. Personally, I hate reaction videos. Hey, come on, man. Don't understand why people enjoy watching people watch things or play games. You guys enjoy watching reactions. I do. And I'll tell you, and also because, it's funny because it depends. It depends. I like the reactions in the way, that's why I kind of like wanted to mold the way that I do them, especially when I do the movie ones, is that I like to put the little mystery science theater into it. I like to do the little analysis afterwards too. If it's a movie I've seen already, like some people get mad when they're like, well, why are you talking over it? I've seen the movie and I'm giving like a commentary on it. And so that's what it is for me when reacting. And I like to see people's actual reactions to certain moments and things. I don't like reactions like this. Huh? What? Oh, no way. Like that. It's not real to me. And it's like, that's the stuff that I would much rather somebody like sitting there going, oh, interesting, and then talk about it afterwards. Yeah. So I do, and it's why I like to have the back and forth, and it's why I have Sam with me on to do the things that I've been doing. But I do like them. Do you, John?
Yeah, I mean, I do. I occasionally like to watch people discovering songs for the first time. I think that's a fun thing to watch.
Yeah, it's fun.
And I agree with you. When I do my reaction videos, I will have a big reaction depending on the situation because I'm a naturally emotional person, but I try and be authentic about that and not do them, the whole video, which I know what Christian's talking about. And then I like to talk about what we just saw and analyze it as well. So yeah, Christian and I have the same kind of point of view in that approach for sure. Yeah.
I'll tell you what, it's not funny at all. That? I love these three ladies that work down the hallway from me. I think they're sweet. I've said they remind me of the three fairies from Sleeping Beauty. They're wonderful people. Man, they blast the heat in this building, and it only goes to me and them. And like it's like I said, it's 29 degrees. I have the window open, and I am sweating bullets right now. And I have to they got me, the freaking building here got me a portable air conditioning because it's so damn hot in here with the lights. I feel like I'm in Miami in August. This is crazy.
I'm not trying to be sexist, but it has been my experience that women need a lot more heat than men. And so I'm not surprised that you're having
older women too.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Armada, as Brett would say, why don't you talk to these old broads? Armada. For them haters, Christian, give them that Dr. Egg Yolk Dice treatment. Do you watch Dice's Instagram?
No. He's got a thing.
Oh my God, John, it's the best. You'll spend hours on it. You'll spend hours on it. He walks up to people in the city and he's very self-aware that, his time as a big megastar is not there. But he walks up to people. He's like, okay, you're the one that wanted the picture. And like, they like have no idea who he is. And like, he was, it's the best. It's
following him right now.
You have to. It is absolutely the best. Johnny Venerable. Best guess as to who is the villain in the Mando movie. The movie needs some juice when you consider there's a 3+ year gap from season 3 of the film. It does need, I think they're going to make a new villain. I think that they should bring in somebody who is, pretty devastating. It's probably going to, they might even use Thrawn.
I would think that's my guess is that it's Thrawn. Although it wasn't the greatest rollout in the Ahsoka series, I think there's an opportunity to do something more under a different direction. And so Thrawn would be the answer in my mind. Yeah.
I think it should be Thrawn if you want to keep building him up to like actually, because he wasn't devastating in Ahsoka.
Yeah.
And you want to make him devastating. What better way to do it than to do it inside of a movie, you know? So I think that, Thrawn should be the one. Currently at 47, John. 47.
Hey, all right.
Not bad start for the week. And Ewok says, I finally saw Smile 2, and I was very impressed by Naomi Scott's performance. I'm glad to see that the Actress nominated her for Best Actress. I wish the Oscars would also give horror films a fair shake. I mean, the Oscars won't ever do that in the same way that they won't for, like, very rarely fantasy and sci-fi and those things. I mean, Dune's probably going to get some love this year, but it's rare. And I did think, I thought Smile 2 was okay. I really like Smile 1. Smile 2 I thought was, did you see Smile 2?
No, I did not. No, I haven't seen Smile 1. So.
I need you to see the second one for this. There's this thing that just sucked me right out of the movie.
Okay.
Sucked me right out of the movie. It's like this interpretive dance and it just drove me nuts. But she was good. She's really good. And I think she's. And you talk about smoke show. Put her up against Florence Pugh any day.
No comment. I like that.
See, no comment there. All right, that's what I thought. Gopal says happy football team victory from Monday, Roca. Yeah.
How about them Commanders? We needed the victory after 3 straight losses. We'll see what happens. Take the bye week, and now we'll see how we come back after the bye week. Hopefully, taking a few, most of those games in the back half of there as we go forward.
Giants look good on Thanksgiving
until they lost.
Top Dog Rig started watching Dark on Netflix. Oh, I love that show, and I remember you loved it. You're right. I find myself seeking out foreign shows, movies like that because I'm sick of everything in Hollywood being part of the culture war. Any suggestions? I mean, there's a lot of different things you probably just have to kind of discover that way. With Dark, I found honestly through the audience. And what's hilarious is now since I've been in the UAP kind of topic and community, it's funny how many like scientists and people out there say that if there's ever the most true what time travel would be, it's Dark. Like that one gets referenced the most as far as pure science. And I see this video popping around like, oh, I love Back to the Future. It is the worst representation of time travel like ever. It makes no sense. I just had this whole conversation with not about Back to the Future, but it's just about how little things in time, like how there are certain events in the world that happened that if they didn't happen the exact way, whether tragic or happy, right, didn't happen. You and I are not having the same conversation that we're having right now because the conversations just change based on little things that happen. Like a conversation that you could have had, like, let's say, did you get into an argument with your lady friend yesterday?
No. Why?
But what if you did? And what kind of mood would you be in today? And would you been on time? Well, you weren't on time today, but but in general, your mindset would have been different. Our conversation would have been different. It's a different conversation. Just one little thing that happens. And in Back to the Future, all these different things happen after Biff hits or gets hit by George, that it changes the whole trajectory of what the McFlys are. Yet, when Marty gets back, it's the same exact moment when he jumps into and he jumps into the DeLorean and goes, the pine tree is gone, but yet he does the same exact thing. He wouldn't. It makes no sense whatsoever. I love the movie. It's one of my favorite movies of all time, but that moment makes no sense. Dark, however, makes a lot of sense. In the way that science.
Butterfly Effect did that.
Yeah, Butterfly does. Well, Butterfly
Effect, the film with
Butterfly Effect does what I'm talking about. And the same with like Sliding Doors with Gwyneth Paltrow kind of does that also. But that's just in general the way that I look at time and the way things work and just in general. But like when it comes to actual science and loopholes and things that you'd have to do with dark matter and those things, Dark is the most fascinating that I've ever seen. Dark is awesome. That I binged that whole damn thing. Have you ever seen that show, John?
No.
Oh,
I know you talk about it all the time.
Brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. Wicked Art. I love Fassbender as Magneto. I know they want a fresh start, but he is a great actor and he brought more emotion to that character. Would you be opposed to seeing him come back in that role? I love you guys and keep up the great work. Well, thank you. We love you also. I'm very excited for people to see once your brilliant comic series of Capes and Cows is done, that everybody gets a chance to see that. And you can get access to all the issues if you're a member or a patron. As far as Magneto, the only way I'd want to see him come back, John, is in the Avengers movie. Like one last time, I wouldn't want to see him come back in the new. I think that in the same way that we wanted a fresh start with all the new DC characters, X-Men needs a whole new fresh start.
I agree. Secret War is the only place to put him in, and so anything out of that is, other than that, would just be weird. And look, they clearly were talking to Patrick Stewart about coming back, which is why I jumped into that situation with in the was it Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness. So clearly there was conversations happening. But this is the extent to which Patrick Stewart wanted to come back, and that was that. So this will be interesting to see how they come back here in Secret Wars. But I agree with you. Clean break completely, start all over again. We can handle it.
But not only, I agree, we can not only can we handle it, we need to, because we need, if you want this to go on for the next 10 to 20 years, like cast them young. Cast them young. Wicked Art. I may be biased. Arcane season 1 and 2 are the best. 2's pretty damn good so far. I'm only 2 episodes in, but it's pretty awesome. And it's continuing a wonderful story. It doesn't feel like, oh, we need to do a second season because the first one was popular. No, it's continuing exactly where they left off, and I think it's pretty great. Pete Parker 2288. I'm sure that she'll discuss it tomorrow, but Roxy is getting raked over the coals for her Lord of the Rings reaction. Those Theoden fans are coming for her hard. I gotta talk to her about it. She always gets shit, no matter what she does. But she said she loved the Lord of the Rings movies. She loves them. And then I guess, what is it? Can you tell me what is it about Theoden that she's saying? Does she not like Theoden or something?
I don't know. I haven't seen what she said. So
not sure.
I'm not always the biggest fan of those films. So the fact I know the pain. People hate you if you don't like those Lord of the Rings movies.
Pete Parker 2288. What's the most controversial Schmodown moment besides Jane Fonda? You're usually involved in most of them. Let's see. I'll tell you the one that pisses me off. What? Go ahead.
Okay. I like that you said controversial because that implies that I was in some way right. Because that's why it's controversial. Because I was effing right. But whatever.
Well, no, there's always some kind of argument, whatever, too. That it was like so crazy. But I would say that the controversial moment that annoyed me the most.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Was the one where those microphones in the early days of the live events were the headphones were very hard to hear the competitors. You couldn't hear the answers. And it's crucial to be able to hear them.
Yeah. Because
they're saying things. And during the Shire Wolves versus Team Action, right? I think it was that match where the Horsemen came out. It was right before that. Or right after that.
Is it the Giancarlo Stanton?
Yes. So Ben Bateman says Giancarlo Stanton when he means to say Giancarlo Esposito. I couldn't hear him. So I said, what? And then he changed it. Goes, no, Esposito. And then guys like, no, you heard it. You said it. I'm like, and then this whole thing, it should have been wrong 100% right off the bat. But because this whole big stink happens, and I'll say, because the Shire Wolves clearly won it, I'm so glad that because the Shire Wolves didn't win that match, that would have been the big freaking thing that was huge. I'll give it a guy where he was, we both were like yelling at each other in the dressing room afterwards.
You and Guy?
Like face to face, like going like we were, it was like not to blows, but it was bad.
You and Guy?
Yeah. But
Guy got emotional. Guy got angry with people out of nowhere and got in their face. And
stop.
Andrew, Guy.
We were both. Stop.
Are you sure we're talking to the right person?
Stop it. He and I were both heated. No, I'm not saying anybody was in the wrong. We're both
heated with a contestant on this Schmodown. Are you sure?
The point is that I give it a guy. So because we're both heated, and I was like, "What's?" And I didn't know him well enough. I'm like, "What's this fucking guy gonna do now? He's gonna ruin this whole moment now." I'm relying on him to deliver this monologue, and he is the whole. It centers around him, to bring out the Horseman. It centers around him, and I told him, I said, like, hey, when Merle comes out, you got to be scared, because at first he was playing it like, oh, I'm like, but you'd be scared, and he got it inside of his head, and he's like, yeah, that makes sense, I'll do that, and I'm like, so what's he gonna do now? Because he's mad at me. He didn't do anything except what he was supposed to do. He was a full-on pro, and he crushed it. He crushed it. He made that moment. He was as crucial to that moment as anybody. But that stupid Giancarlo Stanton thing was pretty controversial. How about you? What do you choose?
Well, the Jane Fonda thing was the big one with the spinning of the wheel and all that. I also think the David O. Selznick one. I think that
David O. Russell.
Sorry, David O. Russell.
Who the hell's David O. Selznick? Yeah,
David O. Russell. Yeah, those were the two biggest ones. But for me personally, Christian, and I'm going to say this and I know it might piss you off, but I've still never recovered from the accusations of cheating that Bateman lobbed at me.
But that never went public. That was never public.
Yeah, but I'm going to make it public, and I hated that. And I made it public in the past, and what he did behind the scenes, going to people, executives, to try to get this whole. It was just ridiculous, and so people just took it way too. I know I took it seriously because I wanted to win.
Yeah,
but going to executives to try to claim there's some kind of bias, went too far. And when it ended, it was time to end it because people were just involved in these conspiracy theories.
People know in general there's a reason why we don't do it anymore. Good. Let's get in a much better headspace now. Okay, can we?
All
right. Evil John Madden. It's always funny watching Roka on this show.
Yeah,
he's so tame about social justice because on his show he's like a 70s Black Panther for social justice. It's like he got notes from me not to be crazy. No, not true at all. No,
it's not the right show for it.
Right.
You do
Talk about
understand.
professional. Talk about professional. Understand to what show he's on.
Yeah, exactly. It's not the right. If this was a political show, we'd be having a way different discussion.
Yeah.
But the show, what we're talking about, entertainment. There's a different point of view, and the subjects we talk about don't lend themselves to have those kinds of conversations. You do realize, right? You don't talk the same way to everybody. Do you yourself personally? Yeah.
Francisco Lopez. Hey guys, do you want to see a Burton directed Batman Beyond film with Michael Keaton back as Bruce Wayne? It'll do fine, but no. It would do fine, but no. No.
It's too long in the tooth.
Yeah. Julius Wyatt, as a UGA fan, don't think we beat Texas Saturday.
I don't think so either. Carson Beck has not looked good over the last few weeks. Even though you've gotten some victories, his propensity for interceptions has been terrible. Yeah. So I don't think so either. I think Texas this is their year. Hook 'em horns, man.
Yeah. Well, no, still got a shot. Julius Wyatt. John, if you do Lord of the Rings on Cinephiles, would you have guests?
No, I don't think so. We actually discussed that yesterday. We have our new live episode that's up for people to watch, but we discussed this idea of doing it as a summer season series, which we've never done before. And Lord of the Rings will probably be June, July, August, because it's so much, because we want to do the extended ones. If we bring in a guest on, that's a fucking 6-month thing. And so I don't think that makes sense, because we go scene by scene through those movies, not just overall thoughts, scene by scene. And that would take an extremely amount of time with a guest. So,
the Nerd Gen Report. Let's go, Roka. Let's talk about that editing. I just started watching your show with Jeff. I meant it with all sincerity.
Okay.
You're cool.
Okay. Tell you what, edit some shorts, send them, DM me them, and then we'll have a conversation.
Clip Champ Razor. When we get a new X-Men post Secret Wars, would you prefer they go with the core X-Men being in their 20s and 30s, like 97 as teens? I think like early 20s is what I would say.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Early 20s.
Early 20s would be good. Swan King, with the success of Dune 1 and 2 and possibly Prophecy, could Dune become bigger than Star Wars in the mainstream in the coming year? No, because even the money that it made wasn't Star Wars type of. I mean, it's kind of similar to what I was talking about with like the Prophecy. It's got a different tone. It's got a darker tone in general. It doesn't have that kind of light overall thing. It did good, but it's not. I don't think it has a chance to stretch out to that. To like Marvel, DC. I don't think I would love for it to, but I don't think so.
I agree.
Evil John Madden, when are you going to have Dagnino on the show? If anybody can find him on the golf course. Nobody's ever seen him. Nobody knows where he is. Grimbear 13. I watched Terrifier 3 over the break. What a fun new holiday movie. Art the Clown is a horror icon, and I love the growth of the filmmaker. People love if you love horror, people seem to be loving those movies. I just have no interest in them.
Yeah.
Same with you, right?
There's something with a low budget, no marketing, and blew up.
Yeah.
So
Totally.
Yeah.
Luke Skywanker. Gotham Awards are tonight. Are you attending? Which one? No. I don't know. I don't know enough.
The answer is no. I think the
answer is no. Sorry. Luke Skywanker. Any thoughts on A Complete Unknown? Sounds great. I see it tomorrow. I'm excited.
Do you really?
Yeah, I'm seeing it tomorrow.
I don't know when I see it.
Yeah, well, I'm excited about that. My uncle's going to go with me. He's a big Dylan fan.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Go Pal. I totally felt like they pulled off Landfill's brother with Faramir showing up to take Baramir's place. So I guess I don't know if they. I gotta see what they. I gotta see what Roxy with the whole thing. I gotta find out. Screwface John saying that Blair Witch didn't have huge marketing campaign is kind of crazy. Yes, he's a crazy person. That's one of the most memorable marketing campaigns that I can remember. It was everywhere. And that's why I told Screwface. That's why I said we can't debate this here.
10 years old when that movie came out. What is he talking?
And he still knows. And yet he still knows.
Doesn't remember anything. I was there. I was in my 20s. I remember Screwface. And there was the only marketing they did was that this is a movie that was found footage. It might be true, might be not. But they built from a groundswell of word of mouth. That's what built it. To get people in the theater, there was a marketing, but it was the groundswell of people who came to see it, and they're the ones, word of mouth, that they use. So there's a marketing campaign that evolved as the film became more and more successful. So it wasn't like right off the bat they knew exactly how to market this thing. It's a first found footage film of its time, and people didn't know if it was going to be successful or not. So,
you were in your 20s during the Blair Witch trials. All right, so here's the Chris Grainer. Thoughts on Ohio State fight and the terrible hit on Jacksonville quarterback. I didn't see the fight.
You didn't see the fight? Oh, yeah. It broke out because Michigan was trying to plant the flag on the OSU midfield. And people were punching. The police maced some of the players, which I think is way past the line.
Totally.
And it got really bad. They fined them each $100,000 today, but they didn't kick out any of the players from future games. But it was ugly. It happened 3 times this week in North Carolina State, and Florida State, Florida. We got into it with they're on the field. So people stop planting flags, man. It's not necessary.
Stop it.
Yeah.
Well, look what we did. We planted a flag because you hit 52, and that's the end of the show here today, John. You did it. All right. So, John, real quick, tell them where they can find you, and then we can get the heck out of here.
Yeah, at The Roca Says on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok, The Outlaw Nation on Twitch. I'll be doing more stuff on Twitch for sure very soon. A lot of games coming out. I'll be playing there on Twitch, and come hang out with me there. And also my channel, youtube.com/John Roca Says. A lot going on over there, as we said. Dropping the Skeleton Crew stuff today, and then Geek Buddies, the Jedi Way, Hot Mic, Spill the Tequila, all happening later on this week. So come and subscribe to the channel there. Thanks, Christian. Much love to everybody. Peace. See you guys next time.
Thank you to John. Thank you to you guys. And as Julia says, Roxy basically called King Theoden a weak leader. Oh, I disagree with that. And then Pete Parker says, let's go Gators. Plant that flag. Stop this. All right. Yeah. Makuga's going to be back tomorrow with Roxy. And then Wednesday, we're going to have another show going on with, Clark and Sam most likely. The only thing that's going to stop that is because I'm literally going to be shooting an interview here with Frank Grillo in just a second. So I might air that on Wednesday. I don't know yet. I have to talk to Clark and Sam. But nonetheless, we have a lot going on. I am going to be doing reviews of Skeleton Crew once I see it. I'll be doing reviews of Creature Commandos. I will be doing an Out of the Theater of Complete Unknown. That and more. So thanks for joining me here today. I really appreciate you. We'll see you guys on the flip side. Make sure you get one of our wonderful sponsors. It really does help the show out. I really hope that you guys have been checking it out and understanding that you want to keep the show going. That's how you do it. You get yourself something, especially for the holidays. I gave you 4 great deals today. I hope you check it out. Link is in the description. Thank you guys. Appreciate you, and we'll see you on the flip side.